pissing, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We in this thing representing the Sports Coma, like I've been saying for some time now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin', fam? Thank y'all for being in this live, man. Hope you guys are having a pretty productive weekday, actually, as we have moved from hump day into Thursday, one more day till Friday and the end of the week, as these weeks just whiz on by now, man. They're just moving and grooving, man. Big time. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Much love to everybody, man. Y'all feel free to hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and feel free to share. If you're on X, hit the retweet button. It helps us out. And also feel free to share the show on your social media feed. This one, fam, how it is Saints camp day number 2, man. It's the black and gold, get it cooking. We'll have an update on it. Shout out to brother Kyle T. Mosley and the rest of the family members at the Saints News Network. Brother John, also shout out to brother Bob Rose and the rest of the guys over there doing some fantastic work, bringing us up. I'm going to play a highlight of practice as well as I go over day camp 2 news, notes, and items. Also going to react to a couple of press conferences today. Dennis Allen spoke about what happened today as well. Pretty much no updates on the Alvin Kamara contract situation. Obviously, I don't think it'll be a dark cloud over the team. I think pretty much what's going to end up happening is the Saints are pretty much going to see what happens here. They are pretty much far apart on agreement based on what Alvin Kamara wants and based on what the Saints are willing to offer him. And, you know, Alvin pretty much gave the game yesterday and gave let everybody know how he felt about the contract situation, you know, all that kind of stuff. It was very enlightening. Also, man, I also was thinking about, you know, some of the stuff he said during the press conference yesterday. But what really kind of stuck on my mind was the fact that I guess, you know, feelings were that he mentioned that they wanted him to do something and he wasn't willing to do it. And I was like, what the hell is that? What are you talking about? But I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of sense this makes because even though Alvin's under contract this year, he wants an extension, and whether he gets it from the Saints or somebody else, he'll get one. So, you know, and I know the Saints from a economic standpoint are in very strange waters right now, but that's the doing of the captain of the ship, which is Mickey Loomis. He put him pretty much in rocky territory. He put him in the water around where all icebergs at. And that's what Mickey did. He put him in those really rocky waters. And now it's a conservative approach now, all of a sudden, after cutting Derek Carr's money, cutting various other players the checks. And now you got a problem paying your best offensive weapon, whether you agree or not agree. They don't have a player of that magnitude. Now, I did see some of the drills that they're trying to put in there, but whether you're trying to get them to run or not, there's only one AK-41. And, you know, on GP, I don't think the contract would be that ridiculous because they paying him a good deal of money right now. I mean, they really are. So we'll see how it all flips and go as we move forward, man. But this is on the general manager. It's on Slick Mickey, ain't it? Glad I ain't do it. I ain't do the shit. All right, so big ups to y'all, man. Thank y'all for being here, man. All right, big ups to you. I see you, JT. Shout out to brother JT Pelicans Nola, man. Much love to y'all. He said with the Regina, hope we lose all of our 1 and 2 round picks because of all the rounds and draft picks. We just put a farm team over the years, a mass unit for defensive end. I'm sick of it. 8 and 9. All right, JT's kind of upset there. All right. Shout out to OG Jerry. All right. Big ups to the fam. Much love. Thank you there, Pelicans Nola. Vibing with the Johnsons is in the building. Brother Corvadius is in this thing. Brother Roe is in this thing as well. Stacy was popping. All right. What's happening, Stacy? How you doing, Queen? Big ups to the Queens in the building. Also, shout out to the rest of the family members, man. Brother Josh, I see you, fam. Brian's Flat Power God. Shout out to your fam. Brother Philip is in this thing as well. Good to see y'all, man. Much love, man. Appreciate you. Julius, how you doing, sir? He said, I bought tickets for the Rams game today. I haven't been to New Orleans since the opening of the Dome 18 years ago. Wow. All right. Thank you, fam. All right, Kentrell, how you doing, fam? He says, I heard Kool-Aid was solid today. Yes, we're gonna get into that, brother. Thank you for that, brother. Edward, how you doing? Tuck, shout out to you, man. All right, thank you, Tuck. Appreciate you. Brother Brandon, how you doing, man? What's up, Brandon? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you, man. All right, okay. He says, I'm sitting here listening to, oh, no, come on, bro. You got the C19, bro? Oh, yeah. That's weird how it's that is popping and snapping during the summertime. Very unnatural, bro, but hope you get better. Byron, shout out to your fam. Good to see you. Says they got to pay AK-41. Happy birthday to him. Shout out to AK-41, man. Alvin Kamara put in some work, man, over the years. Like him or lump him. Like it or love it. AK-41 is not too far from getting the all-time rushing record in New Orleans, which means he's been putting in some work. This year, a healthy Alvin Kamara will eclipse the record and, set it and forget it. Just like Cam has an opportunity to add on to being a New Orleans Saints sack master. Alvin Kamara should be a Saint for life, man, on GP. I mean, that's just my feeling. And Brother Wilder, shout out to you, brother. Skylife, how you doing, fam? Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Much love. All right, so fam, let's kind of pop right on into it. And this is the article we'll be going on for Saints Camp Day number 2. Shout out, like I said, to John Hendricks and the rest of the family members of Saints News Network. The defense continues to their hot start on day number 2. Yeah, the defense. I've been hearing a lot of positive stuff about the defense. And let's kind of get right on into it as I kind of go that. You can see some of the workouts that the Saints got going on. That's a new regiment that Dennis Allen liked to kick in. Not necessarily a new regiment, but you see he's serious about it. He makes them do this before they get into their workout, until they get into their running of drills and whatnot. So just making sure everybody's conditioned. All right, attendance. Kendre Miller, hamstring. Justin Heron, knee were not spotted. Nephi Sewell, ACL, was walking off to the side with trainer without pads. I didn't see Juwan Johnson or passing Shane Lemieux left towards the end of practice with an ankle injury. See that kid, that man, hopefully it ain't bad. While Trajan Jeffcoat, who was doing pretty good in the OTAs, got hurt in team drills. Officially, Dennis Allen says an elbow. Jeffcoat was down on the field for several minutes in excruciating pain. I heard it was a dislocated elbow. So I hope brother Trajan Jeffcoat, man, who's showing up in OTAs, a speedy recovery, man. He had a dislocated elbow, man. That is not a good thing. But they said there was no ligament damage and won't require surgery. So that is a big time blessing to that brother. All right, starting looks and more. No changes for the starting offensive line as the Saints roll with the same look for the starters. Lucas Patrick did get some work with the first team at left and right guard, as well as Landon Young switching from left tackle with the first team. That happened to Dan was at right tackle before the walkthroughs. Jordan Mims bumped up the depth chart to work with the first team offense with Kendre Miller out of the picture, while Dallin Hawker, Michael Jacobson, and A.T. Perry all got work there as well. Defensively, the Saints stuck with their 43 base defense. That was a carbon copy of the day one. However, some players that were in the mix with the first team defense was Peyton Turner, Chase Young, Christian Boyd, Brian Bresee, Jalen Ford, Roderick Teamer, J.T. Gray, Alante Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry. This is the second day we've seen Chase Young and Peyton Turner line up on each side as well. Now, the QB performances Finished Thursday. Spencer Rattler got the nod over Jake Haener today. Dennis Allen said it will be the norm, but there is no set rotation. Derek Carr finished 9 of 10. He did have a pick. Today, Spencer Rattler was 4 of 5. Jake Haener 2 of 4 with a pick, and Nate Peterman had 3 for 4 and a TD. So Nate Peterman said, "Don't forget about me yet, fam." 7-on-7 highlights. Top personnel, Tyrann Mathieu was out there doing his thing. And let's see, along with Mathieu, Jonathan Abram, Wayner, Davis, Willie Gay Jr., Lattimore, and Adebo. The second personnel was Anthony Orji, Jackson, Hudson, Taylor, McKinstry, Howden, and Harris. Carr's work saw him complete all 5 of his passes, with motion continue to be the big staple of the Saints offense. 2 plays stood out to me, which was getting Kamara out to the right side for an immediate gain working against Demario. It's the Alvin route is best I could explain it. The other was the nice connection to Equimius St. Brown on the deep route, with Marshawn Lattimore and Jonathan Abrams being close defenders. Spencer Rattler work was mostly short completions as he went under center for the first 2 snaps, had a rehuddle to begin the drill somewhere, something that he later saw Jake Haener did in team. He hit Jordan Mims over the middle, Chris Olave over the sideline, and then James Robinson having to scramble late. The Saints coverage was strong on the play as Alontae Taylor actually caught Kool-Aid McKinstry over his assignment on A.T. Perry, but then result was a short gain. Jake Haener completed both of his passes, but like Rattler, some of the deliveries were just a little late. They were going to need to put some on them receivers. Jake Haener hit Jacobson, the backup tight end, on back-to-back reps for his 2 passes, but St. Brown was the first option on the big play. As for Nathan Peterman, he completed both of his passes, a short pass right to Bub Means, then the play of the day, which was a 40-yard touchdown bomb deep right to Mason Tipton, with Mac McClain trailing. Throughout the 2 practices, Peterman has been involved with the best 2 plays on the offense. There you go. Team period 1, there was mainly focus on runs, although Carr, Rattler, Peterman did not compete their long passes. Each drive started at the 42-yard line. The first play under Carr was a Kamara run to the right side where Willie Gates stopped for a loss. He was on the next play with Carl Granderson to stop a Jamal Williams run up the middle. The long pass was a play action against Carr that hit Taysom Hill, and it didn't look like anyone was going to get him after the sharp completion down the sideline, but it was playing out like Cam Jordan made a point to chase him all the way down to the end zone. The next play was an inside run to Kamara that Nate Peterman and both Pete Werner stuff, and then on the inside let Jamal Williams and Isaiah Foster got stopped Jamal Williams. Now Spencer Rattler got things started with a play action rollout to the left side that went for an immediate gain as the play action rollout to the left that went for the immediate gain to the left side with Cedric Wilson Jr. Jordan Mims got the stretch left attempt on the ensuing play that Anthony Orji stopped for a minimal gain. The first play for his series with an outside run to the right with James Robinson that was stopped by Kaliki Hudson. Jake Haener then went in and had to get the offense back in huddle. Both the plays were runs, and then inside run with Jordan Mims, Kaliki Hudson inside run with Robinson. Nico Lalos was on the stop. Nathan Peterman came in and had another completion or connection to Mason Tipton on the comeback route for a nice gain. And that's the play where Trajan Jeffcoat got hurt on. The other play was a right toss to Jacob Cabody in which Jack Heflin was in position to make the stop for a minimal gain. Okay, team period two, following special teams punt period, Derek Carr came into in the kickoff second team period. This started on the opponent's 45-yard line. He started with a connection to Taysom Hill near the left sideline for a short game after he came in motion on the play. The next connection was a short sideline completion to Chris Olave. Then Alvin Kamara ran outside from the gun with Nate Shepard having that tackle for loss. The ensuing play was a screen attempt to Kamara, was blown out by Pete Werner. Then the final play was a pick by Paulson Adebo. It was in the hands of Cedric Wilson Jr., but he was going to the ground and tried to make one play on the ball, but it tipped it up to Adebo. This is Carr's second pick of camp. Spencer Rattler came in for 3 plays, which first being his long pass attempt, and it was a short out to the left side and was intended for Michael Jacobson, but it was a little low and he could not secure it. The other plays were inside run with Mims, Christian Boyd on the stop, then the keeper middle after working from the shotgun. Christian Boyd and Brian Bresee were there with the pressure. Now, Jake Haener had 2 reps with both incompletions. Nico Lalos had the pass break up at the line and short pass swing intended for Rashid Shaheed. You could tell that he was eager to get one as he jumped up and down and didn't get the connection. The other pass was incompletion to Rod Teamer, with Dennis Allen said that he made a hell of a play on it. Isaiah Foskey had the pressure and wanted Bub Means over the middle and immediate area. Nate Peterman saw 2 reps and saw a false start at the beginning by Kyle Hergel, and then a toss right to James Robinson for a short game. Jalen Ford on the stop, then an incompletion near the right sideline to Jacob Cabody that ended up dropping it. So it could have went for a pretty decent game, right? All right. So anyway, and then of course the lanyard, still seeing Taysom Hill lining up at fullback as he was the lead blocker for Jordan Mims toss during drills. It's not just a fad. So that's some of the stuff that we kind of talked about was, the Taysom Hill factor. How does Taysom Hill look? What kind of way are they going to use Taysom Hill? Is Clint Kubiak going to turn Taysom Hill into use check? Kyle use check. Will he turn him into? And we said it before. Taysom Hill could do that. He can do that. Just imagine a lineup where you have Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara back there. Chris Olave on one side, Rashid Shaheed on the other. A.T. Perry steps it up. Jawan Johnson's healthy. Dalen Hawker steps up. Foster Monroe steps up. I mean, what can I tell you, man? Taysom Hill, and listen, we've seen that even with Pete Carmichael's watered down, milquetoast ass offense. We've seen a couple of plays where Taysom Hill was used as a fullback. He didn't have any problems blocking. He's actually a pretty decent blocker. So, and just imagine that, man. Taysom Hill, the fullback. That's just unbelievable. That's just weapons all over the place. How are you supposed to defend that? If you have an offensive imagination, just picture what I said. This is the same guy. I talked about this the other show. This is the same guy that averaged 5 yards per scramble, run, whatever you want to call it, Taysom Hill, as a quarterback with the entire defense, the entire stadium, all of the team's family members knowing that once he gets back there as a quarterback in the Saints offense, that he's going to turn into a runner. So they crowd the box and he still gets 5 yards a run. Still averages 5 yards a run. It's absolutely amazing. How does he do it? How you do it? How you run against a stacked box and average 5 yards a run through the season? Unbelievable. Unreal. But Taysom Hill is the fullback, not just a fad. New Orleans had a period where the wide receivers and DBs were working on one-on-ones. The goal was for the defender to try to jam the receiver at the line of scrimmage. And Equimia St. Brown looked pretty sharp here, as well as Kool-Aid McKinstry. There was a rep where he absolutely stoned A.T. Perry from getting past him. It was something to appreciate for sure, talking about Kool-Aid McKinstry. The defense had several different periods of work, group work with each position rotating between several drills. Michael Hodges, Joe Woods, and Ty Grantham led the first one. Some of the work included tackling, footwork, and positioning, the fundamentals. The defense, and that's pretty good. The special teams unit put up some work with the return game, having two of the middle attackers going after the returner. At times, they'd use a jug machine, but others, they had Charlie Smith kicking it. He had some nice boots with ideal range being inside the 10-yard line, but being the closest to the line. And of course, Smith, who's the, I guess you can call him the backup kicker, the man that came over in the international program that the NFL has. He went 3 for 4 today kicking, with his third kick being just left. The Rangers were 37 for the extra point, 37-39 left hash, and 39 from the right side. Matt Highball, the backup punter, handed punting duties today. He looked pretty good overall. He had one shank when punting from the 41-yard line. The personal punt protectors were Taysom Hill, Jonathan Abram, and Jordan Howden. Right? Chris Olave said after practice he's excited to play in the new Clint Kubiak offense. I have that interview. We'll go over that interview and react to that today. As well, Willie Gay is a player who recently stood out through 2 practices. He could be the new Zach Bond. Don't say that. Please don't say that. All right. He says, I talked recently on the defensive end preview. I thought that Pete Werner had a strong practice as he blew up by a screenplay to Alvin Kamara that would have went for a big loss. Second straight practice that he's seen with Isaiah Foskey doing something that has stood out. It's a good sign for him, and hopefully he continues. It's a sign of things to come. So Isaiah Foskey, as I call him affectionately, Isaiah Foskey, the snowman, is a guy that is going to, the Saints are going to be a patient with Isaiah Foskey. Obviously, he buried on the depth chart in terms of defensive ends. So I don't expect too much from Isaiah Foskey, the snowman, this year, but seeing him do some of this stuff in practice is very promising, as he's definitely the future in that position, because things can get thin very quick, even though right now we have Carl Granderson, Chase Young, Cam Jordan, and then you get Pete Werner, Peyton Turner. I'm sorry, Peyton Turner, and then Isaiah Foskey. Things could get slim real fast because what could end up happening is if Chase Young can't get on the field and he gets hurt, that go Cam. Cam coming off an injury, he's doing better. If there's an injury there, then you can go see. So if anything, the Saints do have depth there if injuries when impact them because they've been suffering from that before. So really, the really most surefire thing you have at the defensive end position is Carl Granderson. And Carl Granderson did admit, and I didn't know this, but he admitted in his press conference several weeks ago that he lost steam. Like he kind of ran out of juice toward the back end of the season. Like he had the 8.5 sacks, but kind of ran out of it. And he talked about that, kind of gave it, talked about it in a kind of noisily way, because he kind of talks through his nose. And he was just letting people know, I got to work on that, man. I got to improve upon that. So that's what it takes to be a all-world, all-around player. And I think Carl Granderson definitely has the speed, the power, the intelligence. Yeah, he got to work on some of the endurance stuff for the long season, a tough season, man. And if the Saints can help him out by having a very good rotation with these defensive ends, hell, man, you can see some positive stuff from those guys. So very interesting. Also, another point that I want to go over about the practice situation is the fact that the Saints played in the 4-3 defense. And let me give you some game on this. They could do that. Remember, Dennis Allen talked a lot about, early on about running the 4-3 before he started over committing to the modified nickel package with two linebackers. But he talked a lot about, hey, man, I like to run the 43 and all this kind of stuff and all this. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all remember that. He didn't have the personnel to do that. He didn't have the personnel. Now, Zach Bond, we often knew that Zach Bond had some athletic ability, but he did not have, I ain't gonna say the man didn't have the intelligence, but he was a smart player, but he was not good at dropping in coverage and covering the tight ends. He wasn't good at doing that at all. At all. He wasn't good at that, but Willie Gay is. So the Saints could if they wanted to. Like we talk about the battle, who's going to be the second guy next to Demario Davis. It looks like it's shaping up through the first couple of days being Willie Gay because he's flying all over the field. He making plays because of his speed and all this kind of stuff. But if the Saints use the 43 defense, Willie Gay could still be out there covering tight ends. He gives them that versatility where they can go modified or go to 4-3. He can still blitz. He can still drop into coverage. He can still cover tight ends. You get what I'm saying? He can still do it. So that was one of the things that you lose. That's why they would take the one linebacker off. They didn't have three linebackers where they can do it, and one has to be good enough where he can cover the tight end. So they would have to, do their thing where they would have to have that line. But it gives the Saints another defensive look, something that they could kind of throw in there. And it's very interesting that they've been running the 43 defense, starting with the 43 and making that a point of emphasis with Willie Gay. So it could be a situation where the Saints have all three linebackers on the field at the same time. It could be interesting, man. Just want to share that with y'all, man. Shout out to John Hendricks, man. Always love his reports from camp. Shout out to the Saints News Network. Big ups to my brother Kyle T. Keep doing good work over there, sir. Appreciate you. All right. So anyway, man, let's kind of jump from that, man, into getting into some of these rounds of interviews. Before we get in there, let me give a shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all. Look at all the ones. Yeah, fans. Yeah, we remember that. We remember that, Q. Yeah, y'all remember. All right. Yes. All right. So big ups to y'all, man. I see you, Raging Cajun. What's up, brother? Good to see you, brother Slim, in this thing as well. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you as well. GM Kev is in this thing. What's up, GM Kev? Shout out to you. Yeah, Zach Bowen is in Philadelphia, huh? I forgot where he ended up going with the Eagles. Okay. All right. Okay. That's interesting. That's an interesting use for him to be there. All right. Millie Too Ill says just came off the Panthers podcast by Bryce Young. Got the whole fan. We got the Panthers, bro. First week out. Yeah, it's going to be fun talking to my brother Dave and brother Rashad, man, about where Carolina is, man. That's the first game we got week 1, man. Listen, fam, it's going to be here in no time fast. I'm telling y'all, the way this stuff is rolling through, fam, we got less than a couple weeks before the first preseason game. that the Saints have. And then once the first preseason game is here, then it's going to roll just like new money. You know, it'll be regular season real soon. When is the regular? What is it? What is this? Hold on. Let me put my schedule up here. It's going to be this. The Saints, man, this is going to be here very fast, man. It's going to be here quick. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be here quick. The only thing that makes me kind of sad, man, about, you know, with knowing that football season is coming is I know that that school is coming back around. That means I got to spend money. I got to spend money. I'm like, oh yeah, football, yeah. The next thing you know, shit, school coming. That means I got to spend some money. All right, that kind of make me sad. Plus, that's less time I spend with my boys because they're at school, you know. So, you know, so is that part of it too, you know? Damn it, I got to spend more money. All right, so anyway, man, yeah, the first game, let's see, is yes, September the 8th against Carolina, man. In the dome, baby. It's going to be here real fast, man. Watch. It's going to be here super fast. All right. Anyway, man, let's get ready to go into some of these. And yeah, Pelicans Nola says, Q, that's the Dome Patrol Defense 43. Hey, man, I love it. I love it. What's up, Big Q? Big Q dog. What's up, Big Dog Q? What's happening, brother? How you doing, sir? All right. Big ups to you, fam. All right. What's up, fam? Appreciate you. Oko. Okay. Acho. I hope I'm saying that right, man. I'll be screwing up people's words. Yeah. Kev. Yeah. Yeah, no, Mickey don't want to talk to me, man. You gotta buy. Y'all know, did y'all hear about slickmickey.com? Put one in the chat if y'all heard about slickmickey.com. Slickmickey.com, that's the fictional website that you go to order qualifications. Yes, if you want to be qualified to all right, so you know how Mickey Loomis says, you know, everybody's not qualified. The guy, you know, I think it was Mike Triplett. It had to be Mike Triplett. Mike Triplett asked like 20 questions. Everybody else asked like one or two because Mike Triplett is just on his stuff. So, you know, slickmickey.com is where you would go to buy qualifications so you can be qualified to talk about his, you know, the Saints. And he has different ones. I think the highest one is the Slick Mickey Maestro. I think that is the Slick Mickey Master, and that's $5,000 for those qualifications. So, yeah, yes, that's where the hell you go to get qualifications for Mickey Loomis from, man. And that's how you do. It's just crazy, man. You don't have to be qualified to talk about football teams or football players or football front offices. You don't need to be qualified. It's really not difficult to talk about grown men playing the child's games. That's what it basically comes down to. When you remove all of the other stuff about it, it's just really just grown men playing a children's game. Anybody, you get 4 or 5 people and go to the park and you can play a game of football. It's just that simple. All right, what's up, English? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. All right, Bobby the Space Ghost. Yeah, Quavada says, yeah, I know. That's that telling you, man. Got 2 of them. And they eat, man. These guys eat, man. Was I that damn greedy? Boy, I tell you, they eat up everything, man. They just inhale food. And they're not, you know, I mean, it's just amazing. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all got children that just inhale food. Come on now. And that shit ain't cheap. I was about to say, man, you know what? I might have to go to the bank and take out a loan and go buy like about 10 acres and just start growing it. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll save some money by doing it that damn way. You know? They just inhale food, man. And then you put the clothes on them, and then a little bit you got to buy more clothes because they done grown out of it. Like, goddamn. And that shit ain't cheap. I'm thinking about buying some acreage, fam. I might save me $1 or $2 by growing it. I'm telling you. They got to do something about that, man. That's too crazy. All right. No, I'm not joking, man. I'm not joking. Okay, 3. Yeah, 1 to 3. Okay, yeah. Y'all know what time it is, man. They inhale food, man. Y'all know. Y'all got children. Y'all know y'all got. And my boys is getting up there, so you know they can inhale food, bro. You know they must have got it from me. You know what I'm saying? I that's probably what I was doing to my parents. You know, I was probably tearing the refrigerator. It's like like Pops Witherspoon. Like every time you come to the kitchen, every time I come to the kitchen, you in the kitchen. Oh man, yeah, man. It's something else. All right, so anyway, fam, let's get into it, man. Let's react to Dennis Allen, man. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear ODA on the camp day number 2.
Make those judgments right now, being that we're 2 days into training camp. So I think that remains to be seen. I do think that we have some athleticism at the linebacker position, and a lot of that comes to matchups too. How does our linebacker match up versus their receiving tight end or their third wide receiver, or whatever the case may be. So, I think, look, it might lead to an option, but I can't tell you what we do right now.
In going to get Willie Gay, is that part of maybe what you're thinking, is that it gives you more choices of how to use personnel?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, at the end of the day, you're looking for, a skill set and a play demeanor, and then hopefully you can fit that into your culture and your scheme and what you want to do, whether it be defensively, offensively, in the kicking game, whatever the case may be. So, look, we saw a fast, tough, athletic linebacker. And now we're in the process of figuring out how does he fit in, what can he do, in what areas can he help us, where does he need to improve. All those things are things that we're figuring out right now.
Speaking of guys you've challenged, I think you're kind of bluntly honest about what Cam Jordan needed to do more of last year, even before the ankle injury. How have you seen him coming into this camp, and do you think he can kind of get back to the spot he was before last year?
Look, here's the thing with Cam, like he's an unbelievable athlete in terms of just his physical conditioning and his durability and his availability. Has probably been one of the most impressive things I've seen from an NFL player. And so I think that's a good quality for him to have. I think he understands that, he didn't play to the level that he wants to play at, nor that we need him to play at. He knows that he's got to be better, and he's not the only one in that boat. And so I think our whole football team has come here with a sense of purpose to improve individually and collectively as a group.
What have you seen from him so far, coming in, conditioning, all that? It seems like he's a little lighter. I don't know.
Yeah, he's probably a little bit lighter. But look, he's come into camp in shape. I think one of the things that we've got to do for him, and it's always one of these balances that you have to be able to do when you have an older player or a veteran player, is how do you manage the load that they're taking, knowing that they've gotten a ton of snaps, and yet I don't care who you are. At some point, you have to get yourself ready to play the game of football, and so, look, I think we'll see a little bit more Cam in training camp this year than maybe what we've seen in the past, and yet we're going to do some things to modify his workload.
When you talk about there's only so many run plays you can do and everything like that, you still hear some of the offensive linemen talk about how this is a very friendly scheme for offensive linemen. Would you agree with that? Why do you think that is?
Well, I've never played offensive line, so I couldn't really give you that answer. No, I think here's the reason why I think it's a friendly scheme, because I think from a schematic standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, I think we know exactly what we're looking for. I think we know exactly how things we want to be done, and there's not a lot of gray area in terms of how we need to execute the offense. And I think players can appreciate that, and at least it gives them, they know exactly what they're required to do. And so I think that's why you might hear them say it's a friendly, offense. The other thing I would say for an offensive lineman that makes it friendly is there's run, and then there's play action that comes off of it. And certainly you're going to get your drop back stuff, and there's going to be some situations in the game that dictate that, we're going to see drop back passing game, whether it be in a 2-minute situation, third down, whatever the case may be. And I think that's challenging on an offensive line. when the defense knows that you're going to drop back and throw the football. And so being able to keep the defense off balance a little bit, I think, is probably another way that becomes friendly for the offensive line.
How do you think that changed in demeanor as far as the O-line's approach to the scheme? Have they had a different approach or an upbeat attitude or something different?
Well, look, I think anytime you do something new, there's a sense of urgency and there's an increased concentration on what's being taught. Because ultimately, it's the player's job to know what to do. It's our job as the coaches to help them do it better. But they've got to learn what their assignment is, and that's their job. And so I think anytime you bring something new in, there's an increased sense of urgency or sense of focus on making sure you know what to do.
Yeah, it's very interesting, to be honest with you, fam, because the Saints' defense against offense, and we've been hearing that the Saints' defense has been doing a damn good job against offense. And like we read some of John Hendrick's report today, and also was looking at a lot of highlight film and looking at some other stuff, that the Saints are using the double motion and all of that kind of stuff. And we talked about that here on the show, about the purpose of a lot of the motion is kind of gives the defense an opportunity to tip its hand on what it's going to do. And like I said, it's a beautiful offense, and we do have the proper personnel to run it effectively. Like if you look at what the 49ers have, they have talented wide receivers. They have different. I mean, they got one of the best tight ends in the game. But I feel like Juwan Johnson, when his game is right and he's dialed in, that he can give us some good value. Remember the year, like a couple of years ago, Juwan had like 10 touchdowns. Like he was third, I think, in terms of touchdowns in the NFL. Y'all remember that? So the potential's there. Last year, a lot of people kind of fell off the shelf. Alvin Kamara had a miserable year in terms of his numbers. Juwan Johnson and those guys, Chris Olave's numbers could have been a lot better. But it was like the Saints offense just wasn't jiving early on. It was a lot of communication issues and breakdowns that I thought would disappear after 4 weeks. It went all the way well into the season and really didn't end until like 5 weeks before the end of the season, where guys weren't on the same page. And I mean, it wasn't happening once or twice or three. It was at least 4 or 5 times guys will be going the wrong way, running the wrong way. Carr would throw it over here. The other guy, it just was some madness. So they don't really have that, to do in terms of this year. And Dennis Allen understands that. So it's a heightened sense. That's why the poll question is there in the chat about Dennis Allen. It's a much more urgent Dennis Allen because he understands the environment. Like, number one, they've pretty much protected you. Mickey Loomis can't protect you beyond this year. You got to show up and show up. So the team, he has a clear, defined finish line. That is to win the NFC South and get into the playoffs. And even if they don't win, sometimes the South, which they should do, no disrespect to the other teams, but they also should be able to get to the playoffs. Getting into the playoffs should be number one for Dennis Allen to keep his job. Now, do a lot of people not like Dennis Allen? True. Are they justified? Yes, they are justified on a lot of things they don't like from Dennis Allen. And that's what it is. It's up to Dennis Allen to win. Winning makes a lot of that go away fast. So it's very interesting to see, man. But the Saints have everything it needs, offensively speaking, to run it. They just, off from an offensive line standpoint, a lot of question marks on how this is going to flow. But defense, man, it's a question of health. They have the pieces too.
If you kind of piece together your offensive line, is there a checklist in your head on what you need to see to kind of formulate what those starting five will look like?
Yeah, look, I would say there's not this formal checklist that I've got that I'm marking off, but certainly there's things that we feel like we need to see, and I feel like I need to see throughout the course of training camp and as we get into these preseason games, and that's all part of the evaluation process.
Dennis, Rod Teamer had a play in the last 11-on-11. What have you seen out of Rod Teamer so far?
2 days of practice.
Well, you've had him for a couple of months, right?
Yeah. No, look, I mean, he's a veteran player. He's kind of, somewhat established himself as being a pretty decent special teams player. But I've seen a guy that's come in, picked up the defense pretty well, understands what to do. He's been a pro. He's come in, been quiet, gone to work, done everything we've asked him to do. And that's what happens. Like you just watch day in and day out, and the guys that make plays they catch your eye, and then all of a sudden they make another play, and they catch your eye a little bit more, and they make another play, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, that's one of the guys that you're putting in there thinking that maybe this is a guy we can count on. I don't think we're at that point in 2 days into training camp, but that's a nice start.
Well, rotating.
It was a hell of a play today, by the way. That was a hell of a play.
Well, rotating Spencer and Jake kind of be like an every other day thing, or what made you kind of go with that today?
Well, look, I think both those two are competing, and so yeah, I would venture to say throughout the course of training camp that you'll see both of them run with the third group. You'll see both of them run with the second group, and I think it's not like we're gonna have a certain. It's not like we have a schedule mapped out, exactly what we're going to do. But I would expect that throughout the course of training camp, they'll both get reps with the twos and both get reps with the threes.
What's your philosophy on when you might start rotating first team reps at right tackle and left guard? Do you want to give those guys as much leash as possible?
Yeah, look, I was talking to some of the coaches this morning, and right now you have your first group, you have your second group, you have your third group, and here's what I need to see. I need to see somebody in the second group that catches my eye enough to say, hey, this guy needs to go run with the ones. Same with the third group going to the second group, and so I think we have a starting place where we're at right now. And I think we need to see that group of five work together and see what that looks like. But then I also think, it's really kind of the player's job to say, I deserve to be up there with the ones. And when they prove they're deserving of that, then I think that's the time that we start getting them some reps there.
How about with Penning and...
All right, big ups to the fact. We're going to go back to that in just a second. Corvada says, my vote somewhat undecided, Q, because it's still early. But you can feel the difference in his demeanor because he feels the pressure is on him this year. The urgency is on him this year. He hear the news. Yeah, when you have, listen, fam, I've been saying this for a while. Maybe 20 years ago, you could believe them when they say, hey, man, we tune out all that noise. That's a bunch of gobbledygook. In the social media era, most of these guys' lives are through the phone. So you can probably block out a certain percentage of it, but trust and believe, they hear everything. They do. Anything that's influential anyway, they hear it all. They hear what the national press is saying about the Saints squad. They hear what Dennis Allen comes up on all these different lists as the guy on the hot seat. All of the lists has Dennis Allen on. I've covered articles where they say Dennis Allen's the worst coach in the NFL, and that includes guys that never coached a damn game before. I'm sad. So, I mean, over time, and a lot of these media people, they've met Dennis Allen before. They covered him in different areas before and the whole thing, the whole shebang-a-bang, So, they hear that and they hear it by their demeanor, because even when they asked Mickey about it the other day, Mickey was like, oh, wait, they're unqualified. He didn't say you're not qualified. He said you're unqualified. So he switched it up. Mickey, the only dude that I ever heard somebody say when they talk about football that, well, they're unqualified. He talking about media people. They're unqualified to talk about the Saints. And it's only because they're mentioning him in a negative light that they're unqualified. But if they were saying something positive, I'll appreciate that. Oh, yeah. So that to me is bull crap. And like I said, my method would be to take everything that everybody's saying that you perceive as negative. And not all of it is wrong. I'm going to just be honest with you. If you listen to what a lot of the media types are saying, they don't have an axe to grind against the Saints. They telling it how they believe it to be. When they talk about the statistics, they talk about this, that, and the third and all this kind of stuff. They're telling it, they're giving you the facts. There's no disputing that. Like, he is on the hot seat. Even though if you ask Mickey Loomis, is Dennis Allen on the hot seat, what Mickey Loomis going to say? Well, of course not. How dare you ask me that? You're unqualified or you're not qualified. Go to slickmickey.com and get your qualification. I tell you, you can start off with $100 on the first tier. The second tier is $500 and the third tier is $5,000. And then you can talk as much shit as you want. No, that's all right, Mickey. We're going to just keep doing it the way we've been doing it. And you can tell they're listening because they got a very smug response to it. Well, you heard such and such say such. Well, that's okay. That's fine. We'll just use that as a fuel for the fire. That's what we'll do. That's how you let, because not everybody going to say something about you. That's, that might sound good to you. But at the same time, is it the truth? I mean, time to do some introspection. Is it the truth? And if a lot of people are saying it, listen to, is it the truth? If it was a regular person, and it's like the neighbor seeing you driving, that guy don't cut his grass. That guy sure don't cut his goddamn grass. Everybody, go out there and look at your damn grass. Look at your neighbor. Do you not cut your grass when you're supposed to? Be honest. Introspection. Do you keep a dirty car? Introspection. That type of stuff. Sometimes, people gonna say some stuff. You might be walking around. You just might have been outside working. You was out in the heat, and you just, you walk by a loved one, and they said, good Lord, boy, was you boxing with the devil in hell, boy? So like he didn't burn up all your deodorant, and you hear something like that. Of course, you might want to take a good sniff down there and see if everything all right. You see, But what I'm saying is, at the same time, man, is that not all things people say about you are wrong. Some of it's a little, you could tell the difference, but they're not going to go through and pick which. They're not going to, they just take it all and put it in the same box and call it hate. You can't, no, because most people don't have an axe to grind against you. So when you hear the smug responses, that their opinions don't matter. That's what Dennis Allen said, several press conferences ago. Whatever they're saying outside of the building don't matter. Their expectation. I'm like, dude, yes, it does. It does matter. That's a very smug and irresponsible response there, Mr. Dennis Allen. Because of course the people that's outside the building, if you're not outside, if you're not in this building, your opinion don't count. Oh, well, you talking to the entire Who Dat Nation because they can't fit in that damn building. Let me tell you something. So you talking to me over here. You talking to me over. That's pretty much that. So of course we're not talking to you. We talking about all the haters. But a lot of the Who Dat Nation have reservations about the team and with the direction of the team. Even the best players had reservations. Alvin Kamara talked about him yesterday, and we talked about that. What he said for the last couple of years, we talked about it. Alvin's one of the fractured players we talked about, meaning the players that had problems with the Saints losing over the last couple of years. It was Lattimore, it was Kamara. He was one of the big ones. We told y'all that. I kept saying that over the last couple of years when Mickey was saying there is no fracture in the locker room. That's absolute gobbledygook. I want to tell you, that's just insane. That's just lazy and unsophisticated reporting. Oh, Mickey was about to lose it, man. His eyes was bulging and popping. He was just turning them, running amok. But like I said, man, we knew it was a bunch of BS. Denying that don't make it go away. Because a lot of that frustrations, the people outside were feeling the same way, and people that are winners. Alvin's a winner. Lattimore's a winner. A lot of these guys, Cam was saying stuff, but he was being very political about it. Guys who are winners are not going to put up with that. They're not going to sit there and keep their mouth shut, especially when they're walking around and they're bumping into diehards out there saying, man, what the hell going on with this team? Man, I don't know what's going on, man. They just not listening. We just, the energy is different. That's all on the coach. But Dennis Allen is coaching under pressure this year. He really is. He is on the hot seat. He knows it. And let me tell you something. He got a memory too. He got fired in the third year, I want to say, of his administration with the Raiders. He went 0-4 and they fired him. Now, will the Saints do that? I don't think they'll fire him after 0-4, but it won't be a good look. You cannot come out of here and start this regular season and put yourself in a hole. And the Saints have some difficult games coming up early. Not saying they can't win them, because a lot of these teams ain't going to be in midseason form, but you got to travel over here, travel over there. You got a trap game to start it off. Don't want to get caught looking at Dallas and let Carolina sneak you. So it's a lot of stuff going on, but absolutely, Dennis Allen feeling the pressure. He definitely coaching under pressure this year, even though despite Mickey saying, "Oh no, ain't I got Dennis Allen?" No, it's not. He's not coaching under pressure. God damn it! I'll tell you another thing. He's not coaching under pressure. He's not. Dennis Allen is Bill Belichick. You goddamn right. I said it. Bill Belichick. Spell it. I can't spell it, but y'all know what it is. He's going to be the next Bill Belichick. You put it in the bank and take it down there. That shit going to be bouncing all over the place because Dennis Allen's not Bill Belichick, obviously, Mickey. He's Chuck Noll. He's Sean Payton. That's like back in the day. Y'all remember the commercials that I am Michael Jordan, or what was it? How it went? I am Malcolm X. I am Malcolm X. Remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember them commercials. That I am Malcolm X. I am Malcolm X. That's what he doing with Dennis Allen. I am Bill Belichick. I am Bill. That's what he's trying to do with him. It ain't gonna work, bro. You got to step up. So it's going to be a gauntlet, man. It's going to be interesting. This is the truthful year. This truth time. Now, let's go.
Saldivari in particular, because obviously there are a lot of positions we've seen over the years where you do that every other day thing, and guys are competing. But with those guys being young, like, does it value them more to get 20 practices in a row than having to do the every other day thing?
Well, I think it benefits our whole offense when there's some continuity in there. I think when you are mix matching every single, whether every period, every day, whatever the case may be, I think it becomes a little bit more challenging, in particular at that position, the offensive line position. I think there's some other positions that it's not quite the same, but I think at that position, the synchronicity that has to go in with everybody being on the same page is important in that position.
And that five you're talking about, that includes picking together the right tackle and the tackle on the opposite of Cesar?
I couldn't hear you.
You said you're the five you're going with now, that more or less is pinning at the right tackle and Saldivari at the opposite guard and Tulaka at the left.
Yeah, that's where we're starting out at right now. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to clarify something you were saying about Cam. So if you're trying to manage the snap count, why would you get more snaps in training camp? Would that be like a conditioning thing? Or?
Well, look, there was times in past years where he got very, very minimal reps in training camp. So I think there's a happy ground in there. He's got to get enough reps that he can get his body and his mind prepared for an NFL football season. And yet, as an older player, I don't want to use all his reps up during training camp. So I think there's a balance that has to go along with doing that.
As far as the defensive end position in general, obviously we haven't seen Chase yet, but how do you view that competition? It feels like there's 5 players that should feel like, hey.
Yeah, I think there's a good competition there, and I think we got to let them go out there and play and compete and see who wins the jobs and where, who makes the team, who's on the practice squad, who's a starter, who's a backup, who's a rotational player. I mean, I think all those things are to be determined. I do think we got some talent at that position, and a couple young guys that I think need to come on and step up and prove themselves. In Foskey and Peyton Turner, veteran guy like Cam that's got to prove that he can still do it. A guy like Chase Young, who we don't have any experience with, he's got to earn his keep here. I mean, I just think that's the way it's going to be.
On the offensive. Yesterday, Alvin talked about how.
All right, hold on.
Running back at 30, decline. You got Demario Davis who's mid-30s right now. What have you seen in this game that makes you say this guy, his game hasn't declined? In fact, he's playing as well as ever.
Yeah, I think when you look at him, I think there's some things from a mental standpoint that he does much better than he did 3 or 4 years ago. And then there's some things physically that he may not do quite as well as he did 3 or 4 years ago. But I think the mental part of it is what allows him to still play at an extremely high level. The other thing I would say is, we talk about age. Age matters more and more the less you do to take care of yourself. The more of a pro you are and the better you take care of your body, the more chance you have of playing a long time. Now, obviously, there's some injury things and things like that take place, but I think, you know, the way that these guys, in particular Cam and Demario, the way that they take care of themselves off the field, I think has led to, you know, an increased length in career and their ability to play at a high level for a long time.
Dennis, what did Jordan Mims do? He seems like he's gotten a lot of valuable reps ahead of even some more experienced running backs, even dating back to OTAs. What did he do to catch up?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think he's made some good runs. You know, I mean, he's made some runs that have stood out. I think he's done a good job in protection. He's done a good job with his routes. And you see him running the right tracks and making the right cuts and making the right reads. And so when you do things like that, it's like we were talking about earlier. When you do something, it catches my eye, and then all of a sudden you get another rep, and then you do something else that catches my eye, you start getting more and more reps. So yeah, I would say he's done some things to catch my attention.
Dennis, is there a certain level of pressure that comes with being considered, as Chris talked, being looked at as the number one receiver, and now you're looked at as the guy leading that group?
Look, I think the pressure comes from within, all right, and your own motivation to be the best. I think that's the only pressure that any of us face is our own internal motivation to be the very best that we can possibly be. And really, if I'm committed to doing whatever it takes, then it's really not pressure at all. It's just it becomes who I am. And look, Chris Olave's got a chance to be as good as he wants to be. You know what I mean? And so it's really up to him to kind of determine how good he wants to be and how much he's willing to sacrifice to get there. And I think he's willing to do those things.
Well, how good, or rather, what's your expected to be in your
Dennis Allen going real deep right there, psychologically, huh? There's not really any pressure. If I'm meant to be who I'm supposed to be, then I'll just simply be it. And the pressure would dissipate and turn into energy that will further empower me to be who I am. Deep game. Deep.
Talk, boy!
Deep. Dennis Allen dropping some psychological bombs.
Yeah, look, I mean, I expect him to be an extremely good receiver for us. And that's all I'm really concerned about. You know what I mean? I'm expecting him to be the best that he can possibly be. Show up every day, come to work his tail off, and be the best that he can be. And if he does that, then he'll be plenty good enough for us. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, shout out to Dennis Allen. Let's give him a round of applause, fam. Shout out to Dennis Allen. All right. Shout out to you.
Not at all from my point of view. I don't think there's no pressure. You know, it's always been a goal of mine to be able to insert into that receiver one position. So they drafted me that high for a reason, to be able to insert me into that position. So just all the hard work, all the stuff that goes into the off season. I'm excited and looking forward to it.
Obviously, you just heard the questions about it, but what are your own personal expectations heading into year 3 for yourself?
It's a lot of expectations from the outside. For myself, just to be able to be the best version, to be able to put myself and my teammates in great positions, get my teammates better every day, and just be in a great position to win. No, it hasn't been expectation as a team these first 2 years, but just to be able to develop that and win as a team, that's my expectation.
How would you describe goals so far heading into year 3?
Or? Yeah, I do, but I'm gonna keep that to myself.
How would you describe the difference in how you might be used in this offense than you were the last couple of years? Like, how is this offense going to be different for you?
All respect to Carmichael and the staff before. They created a great atmosphere, great offense that led to great seasons with the New Orleans Saints. So, but this new offense is more West Coast, more moving around, putting playmakers in positions to make great plays. So I'm excited to be able to play in this offense, especially with the playmakers around me, and see what we can do this year.
talked a lot about the yards after the catch for this offense. Just how important is it for an offense to have that in general nowadays? Like when you look at the best offenses in the NFL, do they have that? Is that like how necessary is that to have that to be a top offense?
It comes along with the scheme, along with the playbook. You know, like I said, the West Coast offense brings a lot of opportunities for the playmakers to make plays, get the playmakers in space, and I feel like he's doing that. In OTAs, we did that a lot, and I'm excited, like I said, to be able to play in space, be able to play in open holes in the defense and make plays after the catch.
Chris, as a receiver, like when you make a catch and you're trying to make the determination of like going for it to get some yak or not taking an unnecessary hit, like how do you make that calculation of like when it's worth it and when it's not?
Just off field, really. Just seeing, you can really see a pre-snap from the coverage, post-snap, see what they do, what the defense does. You can really feel the defenders around you. Like I said, if you can see 3-4 people around you, you can't really do too much. But like I said, it's a lot more space with this offense, a lot more holes in the defense that you're trying to get the playmakers into. So I'm excited to be able to work with that. You can't really do it as much in practice. You know, you're not going to get hit, but more preseason and first couple games, I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Oh, boy!
You know what? I kind of I like what I'm hearing from the offensive side of it when you hear Chris Olave, who's the team's best wide receiver. And in my opinion, I think Chris Olave will be a star in the business. I really do. I think he will be an excellent player for the black and gold. And I think the sky's the limit for Chris Olave's talent. I think what held him back last year was the breakdowns between Carr and him. But if this system, and I'm hearing nothing but positive things about the system, how all of the players are actually liking it, the fact that Chris Olave talk about all the space that it gives them to operate. And if you have playmakers, that's all you want is to give them space, especially if you have a guy like Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, who are really good in space. Guys like Chris Olave, who are not only have blazing speed, but also runs pretty crisp routes and can break it down and get open. I was watching some highlights of Derek Carr throwing the ball. He put a couple of balls on a rope, man. I mean, he was throwing them out there. He was putting out some real tight spirals, man. So, you know, that'd be pretty fun, man, to watch him. If they all can get him on board. Like I said, the key to it all is getting the running attack going. We can't put all of that on Derek Carr. It has to be the running attack and him in complement to it, like primary running attack, secondary passing attack with Derek Carr. That's what happened later on in the year. That's the best philosophy. He doesn't know that offense like that. We need to utilize that running attack. And if Taysom, I'd love to hear from Taysom Hill, perhaps next, later on we'll hear from Taysom Hill, not today, but later on, about what he thinks about it.
I'm excited, man. Like I said from the jump, he's a special player. You don't really get that. So many players like him that's so quick, so fast, elite speed, and he can run routes too. So I'm excited to see what he does in the future, but I feel like that's the least they can do for him this year.
How do you think that you and him complement one another?
It's just speed, man. Speed, you can't teach speed at all. Just having us on opposite sides, even could play on both sides. It's just speed down the field. He could run 15, 20-yard in breakers, out breakers. And like I said, you're going to have to play two safeties most of the time, or you can run the ball, you can get underneath routes. It's going to be a great complement to the offense, so I'm excited.
Chris, you said you hope this new offense will put playmakers in position to make plays. What about you specifically? What's an area where you think you'll have more opportunity that fits your game?
Like it's a lot of areas that you can see to look at to improve my game, but yards after catch is the one I'm looking forward to. Just more opportunities with that, more space, just to showcase my speed and my ability with the ball. So I'm excited to do that this year. Something that I really showcased the first 2 years. So I'm excited to be able to.
Is some of that like the quick game element of it, just getting the ball in your hands, like quickly?
Yeah, quick game, play action, more over the middle routes. It's a lot of different things that you could say that's going to help that. But like I said, I'm excited.
How would you describe the chemistry between you and Derek kind of growing?
we're getting way better, man. I mean, it was our first year last year, so it was kind of up and down, but that's what comes with the game of football. So we worked a lot this offseason. OTAs was really good, and we got off to a good start these first 2 days of camp, getting extra work in. But that's going to come with time, so I'm not worried about that at all. We both are competitors. We both want to be the best, so we gotta do something to be good. So
where do you kind of notice that difference? Is it just like feel on routes, or like what do you kind of notice now that it's year 2 that's more natural?
What you mean?
For like Derek, for you and your Derek connection, where do you kind of notice?
It's just like it's more than that, man. It's NFL. Everybody's good, so we just gotta know what each other's thinking, pre-snap, post-snap coverages, where the ball's gonna go, just reads, what read I am, and then the progression. Everything goes along with that. So just being on the same page, being like I said, chemistry gets built with time. So just little stuff like that turns into big things. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it too, fam. Just to kind of talk about Bill on the back of Chris Olave's comment about the offense and being positive about it, and the fact that they asking about Derek Carr and Chris Olave need to be on the same page. I mean, he needs to be on the same page with all his wide receivers. And last year, there wasn't the accountability thing. And what I mean by that in particular, Pete Carmichael, he wasn't holding Derek Carr to any accountability. He wasn't studying film properly. He wasn't. We were looking at the same film that they were studying. It wasn't a different film. It's the same stuff. And Derek Carr's staring down one side of the field was very evident in the majority of the film. I'm not talking 1 week. I'm talking multiple weeks. A great deal of the weeks was the very bad habit of Derek Carr staring down one side of the field and not going through the progressions. And they didn't address that. They didn't address it week after week after week after week. And you could see it. That's why a lot of the offense early on looks so funky. I mean, you're looking at half the field. You're not even going through looking at the rest of these guys running. And that's why a lot of these guys was getting frustrated. People just don't get frustrated for nothing, especially if you're out there playing football. Guys are out there running routes and doing this type of stuff. And he never sees them because he's looking to either one side or the other. He didn't progress and cycle through progressions to see all of your options. He wasn't seeing all of his options. He really wasn't. And that was the thing. Now, a lot of that was the Saints' fault. Because you have to understand not only the gifts that the players have. These players. You've basically before you drafted these guys and signed these guys. They didn't just pop up on your team. Every last one of the players the Saints have, especially the impact guys, the Saints went over them, went through the resumes. They talked to the coaches, their high school coaches, before they picked these guys up. They did all the research necessary. They know exactly the gifts, the peaks of the players as well as the valleys of the players. They know it. So you can't ask a player to do something that he's not capable of doing. You're asking for failure and you're wasting time. You're supposed to put the player in position to succeed. And a lot of times last year, they were calling on Derek Carr to do something that he simply couldn't do. He didn't know enough of the playbook. I was saying that during, I was like, man, that guy don't know enough of the playbook to be able to do what you asking him to do. You throwing the ball 40 something goddamn times a game. And then they kept doing it. When he got busted up in the Green Bay game, they had Derek Carr out there throwing the ball 40 something times and he full of painkiller. Which, by the way, like I remind y'all, they lied about it all the way to the end of the year when they decided to use it as an excuse. They denied it. He had any issues. Now we were saying that I said there's something wrong with that guy. That guy busted up or something. He got busted ribs, something wrong. You can see it. Every time he gets hit, he folds up in the fetal position. And he was still taking shots while he was doing that. And I'm like, that number one, that's incredibly dangerous to do him like that when you had healthy backup quarterbacks there. So it was just a bumbling, boobish type thing that they were on doing that. And plus the accountability model was ridiculous. You don't put a guy out there in that condition. Eyes bucking and bulging. He don't even knew what goddamn planet he was on most of the time. The ball sailing over the people's head, throwing them at the ground. And he pointing at, you supposed to go that way. Man, you don't know what goddamn planet you on, man. You're supposed to run. It was a shit show, pardon my French. It really was. But this year, you got guys that are accountable. You have guys that are accountable. We sat there and watched that stuff, man. I sat there and did the play-by-play every game. Every game I watched, I was like, man, this dude is not ready to play. They put all that on him because he gave him $150 million and ran him in the ground. So, I mean, it was terrible what they did him. But at the end of the day, I'm glad Pete Carmichael's gone. Because with Andrew Janoku and Clint Kubiak here, these guys are guys that's attention to detail guys. They'll make sure that Derek Carr won't happen to Derek Carr that Pete Carmichael did last year by not getting on him, checking him, making sure he progressed, making sure his footwork is correct, making sure he's timed, that he gets the ball out on time and that he doesn't slow the offense up. Everything's based on time. And you had a mouse like Pete Carmichael with the playbook running around. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it just seems like Pete Carmichael. It just look, he just looked like a little mouse to me. I don't know. That's what I get when you look at Pete Carmichael. He got the little glasses and everything. Look like he need to be hanging out next to Mickey Mouse. You just look like you give him a piece of cheese and he just get to knowing. He just get to knowing at it. But like I said, man, I'm glad the guy gone. I really am. I'm happy we got somebody that's serious about coaching and being accountable. And Janoku, Clint Kubiak, all these guys that they picked up, flipping 90% of the offense from the coaching staff. I am so happy for that because it'll definitely show and bear fruit. You cannot win in this league if you don't hold players as well as coaches accountable. And the great Saint think tank and you guys and me was holding Mickey Loomis accountable when he doesn't like to be held accountable. That's obvious. Dennis Allen when he don't like to be held accountable. Even when they doing the wrongest stuff in the world, they don't want you to tell them nothing. Well, the hell with that. This is our team. And if you not running it the wrong way, we going after you. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. You do what you're supposed to do. You can't dispute the fact that you're supposed to win. You're not here to lose. We don't expect you to win every game, but we sure damn want you to give it a hearty effort. We know you're not going to win every game, but play with your heart every game. That's all we can ask for. And if you lose that way, man, at least you left it on the field. We can settle for that. The other team just wanted it more. But when you go out there and have some of the performances the Saints had early in the year, man, we're not going for that. And they understand that now. So it should be a different feel. I really do think they really made the right choice offensively speaking. So we'll just see what kind of fruit it is.
Caught one from Spencer Rattler today, too. What are your early impressions from
He's real talented. That's the first thing I seen from him. His arm talent is off the charts. He's real natural feel out there. He's going to be real good. I want to see him in action, but from my first impression, he's going to be a real good player.
Just going back to Rashid, you talked about all the different stuff he can do. You think there's still a lot more there for him?
Oh, yeah. He hasn't really – I think this is his first year being receiver 2 or really receiver. In my opinion, we're both receiver 1, so just be able to move around, run real routes. I feel like it's going to be a huge advantage for the Saints. So it's a special player, man. I can't wait to see him ball, and I can't wait to see him get more opportunities. And you're going to see what he can do.
Two wide receiver ones from the mouth of Chris Olave talking about Rashid Shaheed. It's just phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal, to be honest with you, how far that Rashid Shaheed has arrived since he's stepped in the door from Weber State, whatever. And the Saints seen this guy like they seen Deontay Harris-Hardy. And basically the same trajectory. They found a template and they stuck with it. If they can be fortunate to do that with other things, but it was a template. They used the exact same template they used on Deontay Harris-Hardy to find Rashid Shaheed. Deontay was a Pro Bowl returner who did a lot of positive things in the Saints offense. Here come Rashid Shaheed, who's taller. I ain't gonna say he's faster, but Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed running around on the field for the Saints with Taysom Hill as a fullback, Alvin Kamara as the running back, a healthy Juwan Johnson. And what could you do with that? So, and that's why I say Clint Kubiak is like in just unbelievably, and it just like, man, I can't believe it, man. He just salivating over this group set we have, this skill set of people we have. He really is, man.
By run real routes, you mean just like get an opportunity to run?
Yeah, just getting more. You know, he hasn't really played too many plays his first 2 years. He kind of just get thrown in there when he's getting the ball or when he's a decoy or something like that. But just actually being involved in the offense, always being in, even on run plays, I feel like it's going to be a huge advantage for him to get a feel for the game and be more natural out there.
How hard is it for a receiver like that to shed kind of the, you think of him as the deep threat label, and then so people just think of him as a deep threat, but he can do more. Like, how hard is it to kind of shed that label or that perception? Like,
I mean, that's what life. Everybody's trying to label somebody as one thing or two things, but I feel like you can showcase. I mean, that's not really who you are. You know what I'm saying? As he gets more opportunities, as you can see he could do more and more. That's what anybody on the team. So I'm excited, like I said, and for his huge opportunity he's gonna get this year, and it's gonna be a big one for the Saints.
Chris, does this scheme ask for more blocking from the receivers? Is there more responsibility?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I told she too. We both gonna have to block, and I know we're not the biggest guys or the strongest, but like I said, if we want to be on the field, we got to be on the field for the play action plays, all those things. So we both got to go block D-line and block linebackers, but that's what comes with football. So we both got to take that next step in our game.
Is that something where there's like a payoff? Like you go out there, you block, run play action next time?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a huge payoff. Like I said, most of our offense is based off play action, all the end breakers, all the yards after catch plays. So we got to go in there and block and like I said, take that next step and be able to be great for our team.
Like being here?
Oh yeah, so y'all feel the weather out here, man. It's what I'm used to. Not used to New Orleans, out there trying to catch my breath, but it's a great opportunity for us.
Did you get a chance to see family or friends at all since they're closer in the area?
Not yet, but they gonna come out here soon. Appreciate y'all now.
Thank you.
All right, shout out to Chris Olave. Shout out to Chris. Dropping a little game there, man. Let me tell you something, man. I'm looking forward, man, to watching Chris Olave, man. I really am. Him and Rashid Shaheed. He talked about Rashid Shaheed in a running attack. Could you imagine that, man? Rashid Shaheed got that running back number 2. The Saints using him as a runner. And they open up the hole there. He just takes off right up the man. It's just this. They got a lot. Like I said, man, there's a lot of skill we have here on offense. There's no way in the world the Saints should be a team at the bottom fighting for a one game to get in the playoffs. No, we should be able to kind of handle our business. It's not like we're suffering with talent. We just as talented on the field as we are everywhere else. I mean, in the NFL, So, I mean, it's about putting it together. So now they have the formula. Does it stick? That's the whole thing. That's why I've been really kind of getting on Dennis Allen. When he started talking about accountability, I was like, that's the thing that's killing the team. It's not the skill. It's not it's not that. But you will lose a team because you have to keep everybody in line. You have to keep them accountable. You have to pay attention to the details. And Dennis Allen's been saying that a lot this offseason. He hired those guys with those gifts that are serious about what they're doing. So with that being the biggest thing that I perceived last year was a major problem with the Saints. They don't have that issue this year. It should be the fact that you would see the Saints have success. In my book, that's what I'm looking at. So does it translate? Can they keep that same spirit, that thought process? Only time will tell, man. Only time will tell. Shout out to you, Lori. Good to see you. OG to the 3rd degree. Big ups to you. Good to see you in the building as well. Richard says, he says, yeah, right, about Sean Payton was so successful. He took a guy that was undrafted and Pierre Thomas and turned him into one of the best screen backs that I've ever seen. Indeed. Thank you. Philip says Pete is back with Peyton this year. Sean may teach him another 6 plays. Yeah, we knew that. Didn't we call that? I said, when they get rid of him here, they just going to go run up under Sean Payton's skirt. They have one move. Guy can't coexist on his own, man. He can't coexist on his own. Everywhere Sean Payton is, he'll go in with it. He'll go follow. He can't coexist on his own. Just a follower. That's what Pete Carmichael is. Chewing cheese. Following Sean Payton. We knew, I said, man, that dude's going to go follow whoever Payton went. And he sure did run up under Sean Payton's skirt like I told y'all he would. He's just so predictable. Robert Anderson said, do you see us beating the Cowboys? I do see us beating the Cowboys. I'm going to be honest with you. I do see us beating the Cowboys. The Cowboys are not unbeatable. You know, and don't get me wrong, I want to shout out to my dog, Law Nation. But yeah, that in the second week of the season, hell yeah. It's 50-50 ball at that early. You know, most of those teams coming into the season trying to figure out what they do best, trying to, you know, guys trying to get on code. Those first 4 games, that's 50-50 territory in my book, man. You see what I'm saying? Really, and it been kind of out of the norm for the Saints, but usually it takes about, 2 to 4, not even 2 weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks for a team to figure out if it's a good team, its identity. And that's something we struggled with last year. What was the Saints' identity? Seriously. If you don't have an identity, you don't know what you do well, then you're going to struggle. What was the Saints' identity last year? Were we a running team? Were we a passing team? We didn't do either or well, or consistent enough to win enough games to move forward. See, coming out the bat, that's already established. When you ask Clint Kubiak in interviews, he talked about wanting to run the ball, having to establish the run, turning Taysom Hill into a fullback, having Alvin Kamara here in a very sturdy running back room. We know Kendra Miller having some issues, but they have Jordan Mims and what's the other brother? I forgot the other running back. That's another veteran. That's actually a pretty good backup running back that we have. James Robinson, who spent time, I think he was spent time with different teams, but he's another pretty good backup running back that we have. Jordan Mims and James Robinson. So the Saints do have some talent there, that can help them moving forward. So like I said, it's really based on what we can do with the offensive line. If the offensive line can stay healthy, they can make, have our ends playing really well enough to just open up blocks and just move the ball well enough to be able to run it consistently, we'll have success. And yeah, I can see us beating the Cowboys in week 2. Going up there, now we're going to Dallas to beat them. But like I said, it usually take you 3 to 4 weeks to figure out what you're really good at. And then you get into the second month, and then you kind of have a good idea what it's all about. It just so happens within that first 4 games, we got Carolina, Dallas, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. And it's like 1 game's here, 1 game's there. We got Dallas in Dallas, Philly at home, and Atlanta on the road. And then the first game out of the 4 weeks is Kansas City and KC. And then you can't take a breath there, because then you got to come home for Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay been playing the Saints really well as of late. And then you get into the Sean Payton game on a short week. So even though we talk about, we kind of look over Carolina was just a trap game to start the season off, because you can't be looking at Carolina past Carolina to Dallas. You got a trap game. And that's what I say, man. That first game's a trap game to start off with. You can't be looking past them people looking at Dallas. So we got to handle it 1 game at a time. We should be able to handle business with Carolina. But it's going to be a tough stretch of games, to be honest with you, fam. And just keep it $150. All right, so anyway, let's keep it turning and twisting, man. Let me go ahead on and put this on. This is Mickey Loomis wanted to pop in, fam. Excuse me for a second, fam. Mickey Loomis wanted to pop in and say some encouraging words about Dennis Allen. Here we go.
Here's his first 3 seasons: 6-10, 7-9, 7-9. Tom Landry, 0-11, 4-9, 5-8, 4-10, 5-8. Hall of Fame coaches, all of them. Bill Walsh, first year, 2-14. Second year, 6-10. So I think the easy thing to do is just look at the results and say, oh, no, we've got to have a change. You got to look beyond that. What are the reasons why we were 9-8 instead of, 13-4? And look, it's collective. It's the players. It's the coaches. It's me. It's our personnel staff, our roster. It's variables sometimes that we don't have any control of. And so my assessment is Dennis Allen is a good coach. And again, with Sean Payton, we went 10-6 the first year, but then we were 7-9, 8-8. I heard some of the same noise. But at the time, I knew we had a good football coach. And so I think sometimes the hard thing to do is to be patient and recognize your other shortcomings and get those fixed, and that's what we're doing.
All right, let's get back to scheduled broadcasting, man. Oh my goodness, man. I just had to Mickey just wanted to pop in right quick and give a good positive word for Dennis Allen, man. All right, yeah. Y'all remember that? You can't make this up, man. You can't make it up. All right, what's up, Divine? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you. Brother DeWright, man, what's happening, Brother DeWright? Good to see you in the chat, man. Much love to you. Happy belated birthday to you, my brother. Shout out to you, man. All right, DJ Twigger, I see you, man. Yeah, y'all remember that? All right, what's up, Relly, man? Shout out to you. Big Black Jobs, how you doing, sir? Appreciate you, man. All right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta laugh at Mickey on that one. I'm sorry, Mickey. You gotta laugh at Mickey on that one, man. You see how he was bucking them eyes, man? Mickey was bucking them eyes, man. You gotta see them eyes bucking, man. Look at his face all flushed. That was a very weird. Look at. Oh man, you look. Oh man, bro, listen. Oh man, what's wrong with us, man? We need help, man. We need help down here in the city of New Orleans, man. We can't do this. This guy right here running the team, man. Boy, somebody looked like they put Mickey under one of them lamps you put in the fast food places you keep the burger underneath to keep it warm. A heating lamp, that's what they had on Mickey's ass. They had one of them heat lamps on top of Mickey Loomis. That's not regular lighting. Somebody put one of them detective lamps on his ass, like they're interrogating him for a crime, and they turned the bright light on, and then Mickey, look at him. Look at him. He's not right. I was telling people, I was like, fam, look at Mickey's face during this interview. He's smacking the gum. His face is flush. His eyes are bucking. He was a madman during this interview. You know, he was chewing all out, smacking. He was nervous, totally out of character. That's what pressure do to you. He got up there and took them bows and arrows from Dennis Allen. He really did. He took him. And see, all to do about stuff that they don't listen to. Oh, we don't listen. Oh, we don't listen to none of that garbage. You're not qualified. But yeah, he's up here, flush face and all, feeling the pressure. None of this won't work this year, Mickey. It won't work this year, fam. Yeah, it won't work this year, Mickey. Mickey, it will not work. All right, shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, he was true on that clam chowder. Oh yeah, you know what? I got it. All right, Richard says, I got to say, I watch a lot of Saints content. There's some good stuff out there. I enjoy your content most because when you bring the community in discussion. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir, for that great compliment, sir. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for spending your time here, man. I know y'all guys got valuable time. Y'all work hard, and I appreciate you guys being here, man, as well. Phil said, yeah, that's what he looked like. He looked real. I was like, man, what's wrong with this guy? And he said that's going to forever live in St. Louis, what Mickey Loomis was talking about with Dennis Allen, comparing him to Bill Belichick. That's when you knew he officially lost it. It's time to find a new gym, folks. No doubt about it. All right, the right says, yeah, he looked like somebody's. Yeah, sure, Mr. Yeah, he was splaining and everything. Boy, his eyes bucking. He was chewing. And the worst part about it was that damn gum. It was chewing gum and drinking water. I was like, man, this dude crazy. He was chewing gum and drinking water. Now, y'all tell me what happens with that. That's two things you ought not to do. If you chewing gum, that's one thing. Okay, so they got some gum chewers out there. They like to chew gum. Hopefully, it's not as loud and obnoxious as what Mickey was doing. This is crazy. But who chews gum and drinks water at the same time? And not one cup. He took like several cups of drink or water, whatever's in that cup. He was drinking. You washing all the flavor out the gum, and then you ain't got nothing but nasty filth in your mouth. You just chewing, smacking on it. He did that for an hour, I want to say 45 minutes to an hour. It was ridiculous. It was repugnant. What it was. Very disturbing what it was. But that, that's the beloved Mickey Loomis, man. So anyway, let's listen to a man that's not repugnant and actually know what the hell he's talking about. It's Mr. Demario Davis.
Can anybody check? Am my nose clean?
You're looking great.
Okay.
Looks good.
Thank you.
You're going to have to refilm that whole thing. The answer was no, right?
I don't.
Do you see yourself as a better player now, mentally, maybe even physically? Not saying you're bad physically either, but
What's up, Lord,
talk
baby?
about how you've grown, playing the game even better now as a mental player.
Man, I just think each year the responsibility of a player is to identify weaknesses and keep your strengths sharp. And that's what I try to do. Is I try to identify the flaws in my game or areas of opportunities where I can grow and get better. And that's why I spent my off season I dedicated to. So my goal is that I show up a better player than I was last year.
Do you have to kind of humble yourself a little bit as a pro, not just you, but the guys that are getting older but still want to play the game at a high level by recognizing where your faults are and where you have to get better to get you playing at this level?
I think just humility is a part of life. You have to. You have to understand that we're people with two natures. So you may have some things that you do really well, and that's one side. But there's also some areas where you do things really bad, and you got to be able to identify them. You got to point them, and you got to expose them. And I got a great team around me, and so they're constantly looking at my game and realizing where areas of opportunity are for us to grow. I think that's what has allowed me to have the longevity in the game that I've had, and I don't take it for granted. So I'm always just trying to figure out where the edge is for me in my competition and how I can take it to another level. And me taking it to another level that allows the team to go to another level.
Have there been areas that you've noticed like a drop-off, so to say, that you've been able to kind of like counteract as you no longer make up for those?
No, I think that the game is in good hands. So when I say the game is in good hands, I think that there are players that are coming into the league that are dominant. And when you look at guys who are younger than myself, when you look at a Fred Warner, when you look at a Roquan Smith, when you look at a Matt Milano, those guys are playing great football. So for me, it's not as much as a drop-off as, like if you look at like the 100-meter dash, the times get faster. And so for me, it's how do I get faster? How do I get better? How do I get sharper? And so it's like I'm not paying attention to areas where I wasn't doing it as good as I was doing it before. I don't have the luxury to do things worse. I have to do them better. So if you look at the numbers I had in 2022 versus the numbers I had in 2023, I hope you look at the stat line and they're better. That's how I measure my growth.
Yeah, we talked to Cam yesterday, and he kind of emphasized this idea of urgency, right? Like you're 35 years old, you still feel like you have time, but not as much time as you once had. Does that affect your approach at all? How do you kind of come into a season?
I think time is an illusion. How much time does anybody have? You know, if your life could be gone tomorrow, and so in that case you're old, or you could live to be 100 years old. You know, and so that in that case you're young, and so I think time is an illusion because we don't know how much time we really have, and so all you know is that you have is right now, and I love where we are at right now, and that's what I'm focused on.
That was pretty good. Put one in the chat on what Demario said. He sold it a lot better than Dennis Allen did. He actually made that make sense and put some confidence, some wisdom behind it. That was thought like that. It was Prince. Prince talked about that. Remember, y'all? Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. Because Prince said the same thing, that time was an illusion, that he didn't believe in time. And if that is indeed his belief, then that is very interesting because that's how Demario Davis is able to sustain himself. Time is an illusion. You know? He said you could be gone tomorrow. In that case, you're young. And listen, let me tell you something, family. A lot of great people that I knew, and you guys know, they're not here anymore. We have... It is really a very delicate thing if you think about it. But that was actually pretty deep what Demario Davis said, wasn't it? That was pretty deep, man. That was pretty deep right there. That was pretty deep. KD says Demario's a great man, great leader, great player, but even a better father. A team full of Demarios, a Super Bowl team with no off-field issues. And Demario wasn't complaining last year. He was still very stable. He wasn't one of the fractured players. I wish he would have spoke up a little bit more last year because the team really needed his leadership in terms of like speaking out on this and maybe helping change that culture. But very solid move, man. All right, Bobbin says, yeah, Q, I turned 21 on every birthday. Time is an illusion. All right, that was pretty deep, man. That was pretty deep. Let's see the rest of it.
What about Cam specifically? I mean, he had a down year by his standards and obviously battled some injury too. What do you seen about his approach and what he's still got left to prove out here?
Man, Cam Jordan is Cam Jordan. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame player. He's the heartbeat of the defense. He's the heart of New Orleans. I mean, when you think New Orleans Saints football, you're going to think Cam Jordan. And he's been one of the greatest ever do it. And so I think the team just needs Cam to be Cam. And his rest going to take care of itself. And so he's a captain on our unit. I know he's going to have himself ready to go. He's going to have the unit ready to go. We're going to be straight.
Demario, do you feel like you guys are playing with a chip on your shoulder? Cam and both Derek discussed that yesterday, maybe because they haven't been to the playoffs the last 3 seasons.
I think that's what may be the elephant in the room. We have underperformed. It's like, I think that the message I would give to our fan base is we know we haven't been good enough. We haven't put something on the field that the city should be proud of. And that's why we're here locked in and we're working. And so the mindset is we got all the right pieces and it's on us to go and execute. I think we're going to put a team on the field that the city is going to be proud of. What I need the city to understand is we got the right coaches. We got the right pieces. We got the right offense. We got the right quarterback. We got the right defense. And it's on us to go out and execute. And so we take that on us. We have underperformed, all of us, the entire organization. We haven't done what we're supposed to do. But that's why we locked in and we putting the work in so that the results can show. And the only way we're going to get there is if we put the work in and continue to stack the bricks. But I think we got a process that the city would be proud of, and I believe that process is going to give us the results.
With that being said, has it felt different in these OTAs, minicamp, and even these first 2 practices? Can you kind of feel that?
I think the energy is different. The vibe is different. I think it's a mindset. It's a mindset shift. I think everyone just understands what we've done hasn't been good enough, and so that requires us to do more. And so our mindset is, what are we sacrificing and what are we doing that we haven't done?
Demario, I want to ask you a couple of Mississippi questions. What's your role still with kids that play high school football in Jackson and trying to kind of follow in your footsteps? How involved are you in that still?
Still heavily involved. We got a group of kids that we mentor in Mississippi, and we got a group of kids that we mentor in New Orleans. And our goal is to make sure that they're well-rounded individuals. We want to make sure that they're mentally strong, they're emotionally strong, they're spiritually strong, as well as being physically strong. We do help with their recruiting process, but our goal is not just to get them to college, but it's to make sure they get to college and they're the right type of young men and that they leaders when they show up. We got some guys who are excelling at a high level, and they're top guys that they positioning around the nation, and we got some that are 4.0, 4.2 students in the classroom and not doing as well on the field, but they're leading in the classroom. And so our goal is to focus on those individuals who want to be change makers, not just in their environment but around the world, and give them the tools to help them get there.
Does it help that you played at Brandon and some kids that are even coming into that school are kind of seeing what you did there? I can make it too, and even surrounding schools in that area? Yeah,
I mean, I blazed the trail in a lot of spaces, but it was guys before me. You think about guys like Jerry Norwood that came from where I was at Brandon. When I go, it's guys that came after me, Jonathan Mingo, Gardner Minshew, and so I was part of the trailblazing. But my goal for young men and women is write your own story. Don't just be inspired by my dedication, be inspired by my process. But your story doesn't have to look like my story. You don't have to be a replica. You don't have to follow that mold, because there's so many different things that make you unique. And so I think that's how we kind of approach it.
Mario, we see the energy that Hodges has on the field. You can hear him from half a mile away. What's he like for y'all in that position room, and how has he maybe even brought the best out of you since he's coached?
Man, he's definitely one of the best position coaches I've ever been around. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a D coordinator in a year or a couple years. I mean, just a great defensive mind. He really understands the game. He really understands the details. And he's the reason why we've had productive linebackers, for as many years as I've been here. He's played a big part of that. And so I just think he helps us take it to another level, and he preaches consistency. He doesn't stop. He brings the juice every day. He makes sure we bring the juice. He's just a great leader and, great captain of our room. And so he keeps us going in the right direction. He keeps making us better. And I think that's why you've seen, over the years, there's been so many different guys that come through the LB room, but the position group hasn't had a lot of drop off.
You think he runs maybe like 3-4 miles in practice?
I wouldn't be shocked if he getting a lot of steps in.
Demario, I think one of the biggest elements that hasn't been talked about is that every other team in the NFL is trying to get to your home field to end their season. That factored in with the fact you've missed the playoffs the last 2 years. How much of those two elements really coming together into the motivation y'all have now?
Yeah, I don't think I need to be too much talk around that, man. Everybody understands that the Super Bowl is in our home, and that means something. The Super Bowl is in New Orleans, and whether that needs to be a hashtag that the Super Bowl is coming to NOLA, or it's coming to New Orleans, it's getting ready, whatever that needs to be, where everybody understands that has a meaning to it. The Super Bowl is coming to New Orleans, and that means when you get to the playoffs, you have the opportunity to play every game at home, and so it's a long journey to that point, and a lot of work got to be done. And if that means something to it, if that means something to you, it's gonna show, and it means something to me, and it means something to this team.
Yo, boy!
If you feel like you guys did underperform, what are some areas that you think collectively you guys as a unit at least maybe want to improve on this year?
First of all, I don't think we underperformed as a defense. I just think there was areas. I mean, we were still statistically ranked very high in a lot of defensive categories. So I wouldn't call it underperformance. But what I would say is our standard is greatness. And over the years we've been top 5 in almost every category defensively since I've been here. And our standard is greatness, and it's challenging. Offenses are dynamic. Offenses are explosive, but we got the guys and we got the coaches to be dominant, and that's what our mindset is. And so the way that we practice is how we get there. One of our main things is not what you play, it's how you play, and that's what we focus on, making sure that we got our process right, that we're playing the right way, that we're faster than our opponent, and we're more physical than our opponent, and there's a lot of violence happening out there on that field where teams watch us and they feel fear. And so, but that's on us. We got to put the work in. That's the only way to get there.
As long as you've known Dennis and played for him both as a coordinator and head coach, how do you feel about the pressure that's on him to get better results and your observations about how he's addressing that and how he's handling that?
I don't know, how he's handling that or whatever, but I know how I feel about him. And he's the right man for the job. And to be in this situation, to be where we are and have underperformed, and now we got to rise to the occasion. And I've been going to war with this man for 7 years. And when the pressure's on, he always putting us in a position to win. He always putting us in a position to succeed. And that's all you can ask for a coach. He's giving us every opportunity to succeed. And so when I look at it, he's the right guy, and so my confidence going forward and my belief going forward is through the roof. So I don't know about what you're talking about as far as response, because I don't keep up with a lot of it, and so I don't know what all is being said and what I was being responded to. But when I talk about my belief in my coach, man, I'm ready to go to war. And when I get ready to go to war, I want him out there with me, because the success I've had has been directly attributed to him. I would not be the player that I am today without him. And I played my best football since being here, and he is probably the highest person that's responsible for that, outside of my own work, my own individual work. And so, man, my belief and confidence is through the roof in him. And so we just got to get to it. We got to put the work in, and when we get out there on Sunday, we have to have a product that our fans are proud of. And I believe he's the right man to make sure we got that.
Demario, it actually seemed like you made a couple comments on social media this year. Once defending him, I think, when something came up, Tyron started and you followed up. But also some things you said about Derek, like positive about Derek. Was there a recognition from you that the fans had been kind of turning on this team and you wanted to be more vocal about standing up for these guys?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, man, first of all, it's a hard game. And I understand our fan base desire for winning because I've been a part of that winning. And when you get used to winning, the standard is high. It's very high. But you have to understand that a transition happened in our organization, right? Sean Payton leaves, Drew Brees leaves. And so the standard is that they're going to be where they were at the end of their tenure with the Saints, at the beginning. And so I think that's unfair standard. That's an unfair balance. But I've been in the trenches with both of these guys. And when I tell you Derek is the right quarterback, he's the right quarterback. When I tell you DA is the right head coach, he's the right head coach. And I've been here to see the good times and the bad times. So I know, but they're the right men for the job. And that's what my belief is. Our mentality is the Super Bowl is coming to New Orleans. That's our mindset. And when I'm telling you that these are the right men for the job, this is the right men for the job. And I don't know. I think there may be a series of doubt around them. Well, I don't think there's a series of doubt around me. And if there ain't no series of doubt around me and I'm telling you they're the right people, you just got to believe that. And we got to roll with that because as a city, we got to be united in trying to get where we're trying to go. We cannot be divided.
So,
Man. Man, I love Demario Davis, man. I have no doubt in Demario Davis. And he kind of tied us up right there when he said, listen, if there's doubt around them, there ain't no doubt around me. So if I'm telling you they're the guys, then just believe what I say. That's tough, man. Because I mean, I got love for Demario Davis. I respect him. Boy, man. That's a good one there, Demario. I don't know what I can say about that one, brother. Except, man, listen here, brother. Yeah, listen here. You're right. You're 100% right, Demario. You're 1,000% right about that. When the Saints made the decision, when Sean Payton left and Drew Brees left, the Saints had plenty of time to get the right people here. Mickey says that Derek Carr's the guy. Gave him $150 million. They made Dennis Allen the guy. Sean Payton told Mickey Loomis to make him the coach, and Mickey Loomis did a fake looking for coaches, talked to a guy for 8 hours and offered him the OC job. Regardless or not, they're here. You understand? Let me just say this. Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis knew what this was when he took over the team. This wasn't a bottom feeding team. This was a team that when Sean Payton had him was a distracted team in his last year. Sean Payton was distracted. And like I covered during that year, y'all remember toward the back of that year, I played the interview from Jay Glazer, who's the insider for Fox, telling people in January, well, when the season was over with, that Sean Payton during the season in November was talking to him about retirement and telling him that he would give him the scoop when he decided to retire. Now that's out of bounds. Sean Payton would put your ass in the doghouse real quick and thrash you verbally, take time away from you for being distracted and even having that kind of frame of thought. That's very hypocritical. So the Saints were Sean Payton was distracted in that last year. And then, of course, Dennis Allen takes over the team as a member of the team. The Saints were still very talented. The first year under Dennis Allen, he was still talented. But that's the point about making good decisions, making sure whoever you pick takes the team and go. The team went backwards. And we understand transition, but dog, this is the third year. I mean, it ain't like he just took over the team, bro. And then, I love Demario Davis. I respect the hell out of you, brother. I really do. But I can't get around Dennis Allen throwing his team under the bus. What you got to say for that one? But see, it's a blind faith that Demario operates with in all matters, which is fine. And I'm not going to knock that. But I can't discount Dennis Allen throwing his team under the bus at the end of the season when he didn't even have to do that. I can't discount the fact that he was trying to trade Lattimore because Lattimore was not happy with him and the losing that was going on. I can't I can't forgive him apologizing to the Falcons when he never apologized to any of the Who Dat people that support the team. Never, out of all this funky ass stuff that he was doing during these last 2 years, not one time did he go up to the podium with that possum puss and say, "Who Dat Nation, I apologize, man. This was on me. I'm sorry. We're going to do better." Not one time did he offer you an apology for the funkiness that was going on in the losing. But then he turns it up, grabs the stomach on both sides of the dumb coach Arthur Smith, and then apologizes to the Falcons at the end of the season. Nah, bro, I can't get over that. My coach wouldn't do that. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Now I'm looking, now it's the third year. By all measurements, Dennis Allen should have been fired last year. But you got a general manager that's literally sleeping at the switch, who doesn't do in-season evaluations. He's past his prime. Let's just keep it $150, man. Let's keep it all the way funky. And I don't have to sugarcoat shit with these people because I'm not collecting a check from them for me to issue out pleasantries and compliments. I don't need to do that. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, I'm going to give you all the flowers in the world. If you're not, you're going to get the opposite. That's real. That's how it's supposed to go. Yes, there is a high standard here. We don't like excuses. We don't like half-ass football. And we don't like, we don't like no BS. Miss me with that. If you go out and perform and you give 110%, we can live with that. If you don't and you act and you play around and then you make excuses, not saying that about Demario because Demario don't do that. But that's not how we gonna rock, brother. And yes, you are right, sir. The Super Bowl is in New Orleans. That's a fact. But another thing is, are you going to be in it? That's the next question. It's already a done deal. The Super Bowl is in New Orleans this year. But are you, the New Orleans Saints, the great Saint think tank, are we going to be in it? That's the thing. Is that a fact? Not yet. So we'll see how it all goes, man. I have faith in Demario Davis, but I've seen a lot of Dennis Allen, and Dennis Allen still to. Yes. He got to show us. He got to show us because it's too much been going on over the last couple of years. And like I said, in the NFL where it stands not for long, the only reason we still have Dennis Allen here for the third year is because Mickey Loomis is sleeping at the switch and he don't want to be proven wrong. And that's what's going on. So like I just showed you the little clip of him bucking his eyes and acting crazy. That's what happened from the pressure that the people was putting on him because he was supposed to be up out of here. But in the end, they make the changes and there is nowhere else to go but up, right? I want the team to succeed. I'm not one of those folks that, and I know a lot of people don't like Dennis Allen like that. I'm not one of those folks that want to see the team do bad so we can fire Dennis Allen. I'm not with that because I don't like wasting time. I say because you're wasting Demario's window of time, even though he doesn't believe in it. There is a window, contractually speaking, that you have these players under. And at some point, they're going to be beyond the window and you're going to have to restart all over with it. So, I mean, wasting Cam, wasting Demario, wasting Tyrann Mathieu. No, we got to make this pop this year. We got a tough schedule to open up over the first 5 to 6, 7 games. It's not going to be easy, but in the end, he's right. You got to be one mind, but it's difficult to be one with off cold. And let me say this, and I'm going to go back to Demario. And I said this often. You don't amalgamate. You don't unite with off code people. Don't do it. That's real deal Holyfield right there. Well, all this stuff people say, yeah, man, you got to stick. We ain't going to make it unless we stick together. You're right, but you don't stick. You don't combine with off-code people because you're just setting yourself up for failure. You don't unite with off-code people. So, like I said, watching the Saints for many years, been a Saints man for 30 plus years. Been doing this show for a very long time, called a lot of games, seen a lot of stuff from the Saints, and I'm going strictly off my experience. knowing what I seen from the Black and Gold organization with this team. I ain't new to this. I'm gonna just keep it a buck and all the way funky with you. Is that I love Demario Davis, but your boy gotta show improve. Dennis Allen got to step up and show improve. And I know you feel that way about Dennis Allen, but man, listen, he gonna have to show the Who Dat Nation they are validated for feeling the way they feel, and they're not gonna walk in blind faith for a man that ain't showing no faith. Dude, no. But for you, brother, I have all the faith in the world for you, man. I really do. For Demario Davis, man, I really do. Much respect to him. But just your guy, Dennis, man, you got to show the Who Dat Nation. This is the bottom line, man.
What made you want to I mean, did you feel like in a leadership role, I kind of want to stand up and like say something publicly? Or?
No. I don't think I didn't feel the need to stand up and say something publicly. I'm just stating what I believe. I'm just stating my stance from who I am as a person. I don't believe that either of them need a defense or they're looking for a defense or anybody's looking for a defense. I think as a unit, as a whole, we have underperformed. And that's going to be pointed at certain people just because of the nature of the business. I think, when you win, it's pointed at certain people. Like the O-line never gets recognition for when you run for 200 yards. You know what I'm saying? That's the nature of the beast. Just like when you lose, certain people are going to get pointed at. And I don't think a defense is necessarily needed for anybody. So I'm not trying to stand up and state anybody's case. I'm standing on what I believe and who I am as a person. And I'm not going to sell wolf tickets to nobody.
Yeah, just one more, Derek, because I know you've gotten close over the last year plus. He said a couple times that
I don't think Demario's selling wolf tickets. I think Demario is 100% real deal. I think he believes what he's saying. I think Demario Davis is the type of dude that if you're on the football team with you, he gonna ride with you 110%. That's what Demario gonna do, whether it's win, lose or not. But some players, and listen, that's good to a fault. You got to have more of a balanced approach, because if you have a standard or a moral compass, let's say a moral compass, the reason why it's called that is because when you start teetering off balance, the compass is supposed to put you back on course. You're not supposed to blindly or foolishly follow somebody that obviously they don't know what they're doing. You're supposed to use your influence. If you have any, you're supposed to step up and you make yourself well known to keep sure you steer the ship where it belongs and not just blindly be there. That's like being the lookout on the Titanic and you sitting up there, everybody on the boat sleep except for the pilot, and you at the very end of the bridge with the binoculars looking. Your life's in the hands of the people. So if you looking and you see this big ass iceberg coming up on the starboard side, you looking, you saying, man, oh my God, nah, man, you got to get up and you got to go warn them to turn the ship around, to turn it away from it, make it go veer left or right or whatever to avoid hitting it. Everything takes a balanced approach. You can't be just blind in life, man. I understand having faith. But I preach more active faith. I'm like the active faith guy. What good is having faith if you ain't activating, if you ain't using it to better yourself or helping people around you? And I also know that if I'm going to get any questions answered, it's going to come from the Most High. It's going to come from the Lord. Me being that I'm just a human, the epitome of everything that is knowledge based and any question that I have, I find it from the Creator. So that's like me being afraid to ask the Creator questions to answers. He's like, listen, don't be afraid of me. I'm not going to throw a lightning bolt at you because you want to ask me a question. That's what you're supposed to do. You're my child. I love you. That's like telling my children, am I a father? So above, so below. That's like my children. You can't, now just shut up. You can't question me. What? But Father, I have questions. I'm young. I'm a young man. I want to know such and such, such and such. And yeah, sure, son, come to me. Yeah, you need questions answered. Yeah, son, what you want to know? Yeah, let me give you the game. Let me break it down. You see what I'm saying? It's so above, so below. That's how it's supposed to be. But, I'm not just admonishing Demario Davis. I think Demario Davis is one of those type of people that'll ride until he'll walk with you into a volcano. That's Demario Davis. He'll walk with you into that volcano. He'll hold on. What you doing here? This is a volcano. Nah, because that's what happened last year. we needed a moral compass. We needed somebody to stop it because the Saints were really falling off a lot of those other games. His influence would have definitely been needed. His moral compass would have definitely been needed in the room where Dennis Allen would have respected his commentary. You know, when you see fractures in your locker room, you see people disgruntled because they're losing when you're not here to lose. That's a problem. And yeah, people are going to look at Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen because they put this team together. They're responsible for the players, the schemes, all of that, the fit, the play of this. Yes, they're getting paid for that. So yes, the scrutiny is going to be on them because that's how it's designed to be. If the team stinks and sucks, we're going to look at Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, and ultimately go up to tell the team, Dennis Lauscher and Gail Benson, what y'all doing here? What is all this? What is this? Because it is a public driven business. If you do not satisfy the public, which you have a good team, we don't have a cereal box team with hopes of catching a first round draft pick. We have a team that's supposed to be contending. We've had a contending team for the last couple of years and they've failed. The only thing I see that is truth is failure. You failed. This has been 3 straight years of failure. And I can't get around that. That is facts. Did you make the playoffs in the last 3 years? No, I failed. Okay, well, that's facts, bro. But what's the purpose of having a moral compass, and a very good one, if you don't use it to keep yourself and others you care about on course, on code? It's no good at all if you don't use it, baby. That's how we see it. So, I mean, you know, I love Demario Davis. Ain't nobody perfect. I'm not perfect, hell. But I know at the same time, the nature of the business is to win and not lose. We don't like excuses. We don't want to hear no BS. We just want to see you play hard. We don't expect you to win every game. Just play hard and represent us right. That's all we ask for. And that's every Saints family member out there. They feel the same way. Everybody feels the same way. You know, it's just what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyway, let's go.
Took him a little longer than he expected to maybe acclimate to a new team, to the city. You know, have you seen kind of a shift at all from him in terms of, does he feel more comfortable? Does it seem like he's more acclimated this year?
I mean, you just look at the back end of the season. He tore it up. And if we can start how we finished, we're gonna be all right. I mean, if anybody judges us by our last 6-7 games of the season, you just look at it. You know what I mean? And if we can start like that, we're gonna be okay.
You kind of touched on it, but do you feel like the criticism that Derek got last year was like people just expected Drew Brees, or like how much does Drew's shadow loom over this organization still? Does it?
I don't know what kind of criticism he got or anybody got. I mean, like I said, I don't pay attention to it, so I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I can understand the desire to win from our fan base. And I mean, we were the most winning team in the regular season for like 3-4 years, and but at the same time, that was the back end tenure of Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and so that was at the height of our organization. So I can understand continuing to want that, even though there's been a shift. And so who's that gonna fall on? It's gonna fall on the quarterback. It's gonna fall on the head coach, because those are the positions that have changed. So I don't know what kind of criticism was there, but it's to be expected, especially when that desire is there. But winning changes everything, and that's what the real problem is. We're not winning. It is not an individual or position. It's we're not winning, and when we can get back to winning, it'll take care of business. And there's only one way in this business to get back to winning, and that's to put the work in.
All right, Demario, that was pretty cool, brother. That was awesome, man, because that's facts, man. Demario's the man. I just feel like, you know, we talk about the losing, the fact that the losing is occurring because you don't have the right people. You're going to lose some games. You're not going to win every game. But you study the team. The team had, like I was saying it during the times, like, fam, we're not losing because we don't have the talent. We losing because of scheme. We losing because of the intangibles. We losing because of, and I said it, put one in the chat the last couple of years, man. I was saying this. Fam says, Q, why we losing? I said, fam, we losing because of the intangibles. The attention to detail, the accountability. This team is not accountable. maybe certain aspects of it were accountable, but other aspects weren't. They weren't accountable. And Marshawn is a great player, just like Demario Davis is. And the reality was, like, a lot of times it's who you pick could be contributing to that. If you don't pick the right people, and then not only pick the right people, but put the people you pick in positions to win, you're going to have this type of stuff that happened over the last 3 years. And you're right. Winning cures it all. It really does. But it goes back to who's the guy. Does the guy have the right attributes to be able to continue a culture of winning? Or is the guy, that's what I'm saying. If you're a business owner and you hiring people and you hiring a guy to run your business, because you don't know you're hiring all these people. If the person you're hiring to bring into your business doesn't have organizational skills or communication ability and know how to talk to the people that's in your business, you about to go down. You about to go down fast. You got to make sure you hire the right people with the right set of attributes that be able to take your team and keep them ascending on another level. And for many, many times, we watched this happen with the Saints organization. We watched it happen over the last couple of years. It's not the fact, losing just don't happen to your team, family. That's a phenomenon that occurs when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Because we've seen a lot of teams in the NFL have a lot of success. What's the difference from what they are to what we are? What's the difference? They got teams that make the playoffs, or was their better team? A lot of times we had more talent than that other team that made the playoffs, but we weren't playing together. We wasn't an on-code team. We wasn't following each other. Even though, like I said, Demario Davis is a great man. His character type is to walk with you in that volcano. My character type is to be like, we walk in, we not see the goddamn volcano. I'm doing this. Hey, hold on. What y'all back on up? That's some hot shit down there. You about to fall off and that's some hot shit down there. That's my character. You see, and I can respect that. Everybody a little different, but at the same time, man, I just, it's a reason for the losing, and attention to detail is one of them. And hopefully they can stick to it, man.
All right. Thank y'all. Be blessed.
All right. Shout out to Demario Davis, man. Appreciate the good insight, brother. Shout out to Demario. Appreciate that. A lot of good game from Demario right here. And, it's all good, man. We appreciate Demario Davis dropping some good game here, man. A lot of good interviews and stuff like that, man. But it's a reason for a lot of this stuff that happened. And I just don't want to see it anymore. I'm looking at the Saints this year and I'm saying to myself, I'm thinking the Saints are going to take the step. They're going to get back on course. Like I said before, I'm not a guy that believes in for the Saints to fail or lose so we can fire Dennis Allen. All I know is if we do what we're supposed to do, which is operate on, making sure all these guys do what they're supposed to do. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do, let there be consequences for these actions. I think Clint Kubiak, Andrew Janoku, who's the QB coach, Dennison, who's an offensive assistant there, will help the Saints in that area, because a lot of pressure is on the Saints offense, because that's what it's about. The Saints offense is going to have to score points. Now, what's really exciting about it is that I love that offense. I like that offense with all of the motion. It's not a stale offense when you're going to watch the same kind of stalish motions that we seen last year with the Saints offense. Very, very plain Jane, very predictable. But you see guys, you see double motions, one left, right, and all this kind of stuff. You're seeing it a timed offense. You're seeing the Saints have the players to be able to pull and athletics. It's like I said, we have big guys and they're young, but they could be coached up to run the ball. Like I said, the majority of the offensive linemen, the young offensive linemen that come into the NFL, all of them know how to run block. Especially the starters are pretty good at run blocking. The pass blocking is what gets you money. Like if you're one of the guys that can stop a really good pass rusher on either side, you're going to make some money. A bookend tackle is going to make a lot of money if he can stop those speedy guys on the edge and he can block well. He's going to make some money there. But a great majority of these guys can run block. That's the staple of their games. So if you can get a Trevor Penning and a Fuaga going and get them playing down hill and blocking out guys and Nick Saldiveri and those types, you're gonna get you doing all right. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. But also IQ is a big part of it. And last year that was something that was lacking, like early on. Don't forget something, because it's like they talk about it, but you can go below the epidermic level of it. And remember, like early on, the Saints had a very hard time doing anything in the red zone. And it's like, what's going on with the Saints? They'll have drive after drive, stall, we end up punting, and then we get down to the red zone, have to take a field goal. Why were we doing that? And you look at the field, see that you got Jimmy Graham on the sideline watching the game. Why, week after week, why is Jimmy Graham? Is he hurt? Oh, no, he's not hurt. He's just waiting for an opportunity. I'm like, dog, we need that guy in there. He's a red zone weapon. They kept him on the sideline. That was very low intelligence of football displayed by the Saints early on. You got to put players in positions, and the guy was healthy. Jimmy Graham said it himself. No, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm just waiting for it. Was pathetic. But we have the complete opposite. We got a guy that's attention to detail. He don't talk a lot. Pete didn't do nothing but gnaw on cheese. But the reality is, you got Clint Kubiak, a guy that's serious about his business, and the other guys are serious about their business, and they understand the seriousness with the position that they're currently put in. That whole offensive unit understands, listen, man, we got a one-hitter quitter we got to earn the second year. This is all on us. If we don't do this, we can all be in the street. So that's how they're approaching it, because it's a red hot heat, that urgency that's swelling the New Orleans Saints organization. That urgency they didn't have last year. They got it this year because they know it's a finality to it. They all have to be able to step up and show up. So you see a certain seriousness to it. Yeah, this is it. If they don't win, fam, they're going to flip the page on this stuff here, man. You're going to have a new coach, all kind of stuff. They're going to flip the page on it. So I do believe that the Saints will do better, a lot better. I think the Saints will win the NFC South. But, like I said, it's very early on. We're just in day number 2 of camp. I still like a lot of the stuff that the Saints are saying. I still love the attention to detail. I still love the accountability model. It is a certain sense of urgency that we didn't see from last year, that's in this year, that I love to see that too. So in the end, I think the result will be different. It'll definitely be different because we have what we didn't have last year. We got it. So we just have to see how it all plays out. So there you go. All right. Big ups to the fam, man. Thank y'all for being here. Big ups to you, man. Philip says we made some changes. Let's see before we grieve. Yeah, it's not a grieving process. Yeah, it's not grieving at all. I say some people are down on Dennis Allen. Let them be that way, bro. Let them show them something. Prove it time. You see what I'm saying? Because some trust has been lost. You got to earn that back. I'm not about giving anybody anything, man. Nobody never gave me nothing. I had to earn it, right? You got to earn it. Let them earn it. Let them earn that shit back, man. Because, like I said, man, earn it. You got to earn that. Darkside says winning championship is a goal unless you're someone like LeBron who gets glorified if he's an ultimate winner. But the fact is he's lost more championships than any other GOAT. Yeah, really? Is that? I never looked into that, man, on LeBron James. I know LeBron James would craft championships. He'll call guys. He's probably the greatest political basketball player in recent memory. Probably the greatest of all time. Because Magic and them Larry Bird and them frown down on that type of thinking. But see, it's a different league. LeBron to go call players and orchestrate teams and put them together. You see, he got his agent partner, Rich Paul, doing this. He was able to use his power to get his son on the Lakers, and this son taking all kind of stuff. The kid, I don't think he's a second round pick, but they have other players in the league better than him, but they just don't have the name brand name that LeBron James has, Not too many people could say they did that, but yeah, I've never thought about him losing as much as he's lost. And then it's still the LeBron versus Jordan. I was like, Jordan won every time he got there. Then when you talk about the greatest all time, I'm like, how could we talk about it? But it's how young you are to have that discussion, because you only reference up to a certain point. But if you want to know who's one of the greatest all time, and if it's about championships, you can't get no better than Bill Russell. That picture about Jordan, the 6 rings picture with Jordan doing this, and he got rings on his fingers. Go look at one. Put Bill Russell's in there. Bill Russell doing this, and he got rings on every finger. He had 11 of them. So I was saying, there's no mention of Bill Russell. And Bill Russell played against Wilt Chamberlain, and I was like, damn, he dominated. Bill Russell had 11 championships, bro. Jordan had 6. LeBron got what, 4? I want to say yes, 4. Kobe got what? What Kobe got? 5 or 6 of them? I forget. Russell had 11 of them. Pull up that picture and go look at it with him doing this. And he got rings on every damn finger. If it's about rings, right? And he was the guy on that damn team. So it's very funny, man. But good point on that dark side. Appreciate that. Tim says DA's offense now. Mickey says, let's keep everything the same. Carmichael DA said when I hired him, I wanted to run a tough offense. I remember him saying that. I remember all that. Yeah, that's right, Philip. He was on the sidelines. We remember all that. You remember all that? Yes. All right. No Cap says they said all the same stuff last year, taking more accountability, figuring it out. He's with a new slag, blah, blah. I hate this team media sometimes. I'm not them. Other fans can't fool me. Okay. No Cap says, hey, man, you ain't fooling me. DA full of it. I like when people say that, bro. Listen, I'm not mad at y'all, man. Because he did a lot of stuff that did not endure himself to the family members. You know, he really did. That apologizing to the Falcons rubbed people the wrong way. And when he did that, he didn't apologize to your ass for apologizing to the Falcons. That's unforgivable in my book. You heard me? Did he apologize to the Who Dat Nation? He don't even think he did anything wrong by apologizing, even though he never apologized for you for shit. So, I mean, like I said, he got to earn it, man. I have no issue with that at all, man. All right, he says, with Saints, you have to worry about too much to go right, the skill positions. Yeah, the head coach, QB, it's a difficult situation. Yeah, for the stars, the line. Yeah, we got to get astronomical on it. But but listen, it's a gamble. There's no doubt about it, man. It's some desperation in there. It's a gamble. You got a whole new offense that has to be installed, right? And it's a huge gamble that's here. It's a desperation gamble. To put in a whole new offense after 20 years of having Sean Payton offense, all you had to need to do is really get a guy that with some balls and an alpha dog to run Sean Payton style offense. That's what Pete Carmichael. He knew it from a schematic standpoint, a mental standpoint, but when it came down to executing it, Pete Carmichael was as weak as it got. He had no imagination. He was vanilla. He scripted a certain amount of plays, and then when he ran out of scripted plays, his offense looked like shit. For real, that's how it went. He had a certain amount of scripted plays that he ran, and then he ran out of scripted plays. It went to hell in the handbasket. It took way too long for the Saints to get going with that offense, man. It took way too long. This year, and that's why I say a big part of what happened last year was from the inabilities of the assistant coaches. Dennis Allen is not going to be a micromanager. He's going to let you do your thing on the offensive side and just spin narratives for you to protect you. He did it last year. He did it the year before. So I'm not really expecting too much from Dennis Allen or, period. But he's relying on the Saints offense for Clint Kubiak and all these guys to figure it out. But they do have certain attributes that should lead to success. The only thing is putting it all together. Yes, they got a lot of gambles. Yes, they got a young offensive lineman with, young offensive line with 2 really young, unproven tackles. They got a Nick Saldiveri, if he's going to be the guy. He didn't play one down last year. He's supposed to be the starter. Yes, you got gambling going on right there. You got new coaches everywhere. They got to get it going. But it's not unprecedented. I mean, it ain't like we haven't seen it before. But I'm saying if you got the right stuff, it should lead to something positive. But, like I said, we'll see. John says Russell had 2 as a coach. Oh, did he? Yeah, that's right, too. A dude had rings on his toes. An all-time great. They don't even talk about Bill Russell. They don't even, it's to a point, though. But see, that's, I guess, if you're a basketball head or a hoop head, you're supposed to kind of not kind of have a line there. You talk about Kobe or LeBron, that's media stuff. But real deal, if it's about championships, who's topping Bill Russell when he's battling with Wilt Chamberlain? Wilt Chamberlain was there, Shaquille O'Neal back in the day. And he used to beat Wilt. And Wilt was a beast. And then there's Oscar Robertson. There's other really people, like really good people that you talk about. They don't even talk about Dr. J. I know Dr. J he won championships in the ABA before they merged to the NBA. And then he won one with Philadelphia the year before Barkley got there. And Dr. J was another dude, but he didn't have all the championships, the NBA championships, but he was a hell of a player. But yeah, Bill Russell was the dude, man. That was game from my pops back in the day, putting me on game, man. I used to watch the old Celtics and Lakers series back in the day. I used to love them shits. All right, Dogs, I said, if LeBron IQ is so great, then why he has lost more championships, 6 and only won 4? They said Jordan and Kobe are selfish 19 players, yet they have combined 11 championships. Yes. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Yes. All right. Irvin says Carr would love playing with Devery Henderson, Robert Meacham, Marcus Colston, Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, and Jeremy Shockey. Shout out to you. What's up, Jay Black? To be, you got to show. Get the show me shirts. Yes, indeed, man. You have to see about putting that together for real, Jay Black. Shout out to you, brother. Brother Byron says, Q, take that Mickey Mouse. Yo, see Mickey. Hear Mickey talking crazy, boy. That's what it's about. English says, Demario speaking was sobering, serious person. Yeah, Demario always tell the truth. But like I said, man, I trust and believe in Demario Davis, but I don't. It's a split there. Like I agree with what he's saying, but when he started talking about Dennis Allen, I'm like, nah, I can't walk with you on that one, brother. I'm sorry. I love you. I respect the hell out of you, but I can't walk with you on that, Demario. I can't do that, brother. I believe in you, but that because you earned it. You can't get me to believe in a guy that ain't earned it. I'm sorry, brother. That's just code. That's code. Code is you don't put your faith in somebody that didn't earn it. You're asking for a disappointment. And maybe if you was younger and you got time like that, but even for the younger people, I would advise against that. They have to earn it. They have to earn it. You don't just give away your time, your energy, or anything that is dear to you to somebody if they didn't earn it or they didn't deserve it. Did you get that? We don't do that here. I don't do that because it's only setting yourself up for failure. Dennis Allen didn't earn it, and Dennis Allen did some of the most outrageous off-court shit that I seen last year. He has to earn that back, and he's done that. I didn't do that. I didn't make him go out there and say, hey, go out there and apologize to the Falcons. I'm the dude doing the press conference. Say, hey, no, don't do it. And he said, I didn't go out there. I didn't tell them to do that. They did that on their own. Man, come on. And we don't say nothing about that. That's not a bad thing. I'm going to walk off the cliff for that guy. Hell no, man. Because you know why? The energies is not the same, man. It's an imbalance here. It's give and get. And whatever you give is supposed to be the same thing. It's an imbalance. It's if you like I mentioned this before, when I talk about sports, always culminated with relationships because it's the same thing in many aspects. If you have somebody you with and you putting 110% or 100% or whatever into the relationship and they putting 50% or less than what you giving, there's going to be problems. It'll go along for a while until something happens. And then the person can be really good. And then at a point, they're going to run out of it because it's not like they're doing it so they can get something back. In many respects, it don't work like that. But when people put energy into something they love or care, it's supposed to come back. It's supposed to come back. And if it don't come back, because that it's not like a ever going thing. You see what I'm saying? It's not like an open current that runs forever. That's not the same because at times we have more energy than sometimes we don't. That's how we are. Sometimes that's how we are. Sometimes you have to withdraw and recharge them batteries, don't you? You ain't going a mile a minute every day. Sometimes like you work during the day and then you get tired and you take your ass to sleep, recharge them batteries and you get up and go and do it again. It's the same thing in a relationship. You put into it. You put a lot of energy into it. And if you're not getting that back, you ain't going to do it. Because it's valuable. That energy means something. You got to get something back. Not saying that's selfish or nothing. That's not how it goes. That's how it is, man. That's how the universe works. You put into it, you're supposed to get it's a give and get principle. And if you're not getting what you putting in and you getting the turncoat energy or a backstabby off code guy energy, then you're not going to, no, or hell no. No, we're not doing that. We don't operate. That's off code like a dog, man. We don't play that bull crap. We're not doing that. So Dennis Allen's going to have to step his shit up. Bottom line. Now, listen, like I said, I'm not going to be popping him upside his head and all that too bad right now because I already said what I had to say early on. They hired the people with the accountability, and let's see how it plays because anything can happen. You know, it's a chance the Saints could turn this thing around. I think that they got the right people to do that. Finally, it took a long time to get here, but I think they finally got it. So we just have to wait how it go. You see? All right. So anyway, all right, brother No Cap saying KK can just worry about the offense. Yeah, Clint Kubiak and DA just worry about the D for teams that have success. Is crazy. Like the manager worry about producing, Lee worry about toys, and the whole store will be fine. Yeah, I asked this, that's a very interesting thing. I covered this before a long time ago. What was it, last year or early this year? I forget, man. It's a lot of shows. But I talked about this very model that the Saints are using, where you have a coach that's not really a head coach. He's only head coach in title. But he is supposed to be an overseer of all departments. Each department has a head. Each department has a coordinator. You got Clint, Joe Woods, and what's our special teams coach name? I forgot. Damn it. Forgot his name. But y'all know who we're talking about, the special teams coach. How the hell I forget our special teams coach? Y'all help me out, man. I'm having a brain fog. I must be getting tired. What's his name? It's an Italian name, man. Rizzo? No. Oh, shit. Y'all help me out. Shit. I forgot. Anyway, I must be getting tired. But we talked about this before, whether there was a model that was used like this from a previous team that had success. Because I'm pretty sure somebody did this before. But they did. Yeah, Rizzy. There you go. Thank you. I know it was Rizzo, something like that. Thank y'all, fam. Appreciate y'all, because that worried me. I'd have to probably look it up in a minute. Darren Rizzy. So you have a model the Saints are using that was actually one that was successful. I was asking people to tell me in the chat, do you know? And they were drawing blanks, because this has been done before. But I was like, okay, had it been successful, where the head coach is called the head coach, but he gives, total control over this. And that's what you're supposed to do, by the way. But the head coach is still calling defensive plays. And I was like, I would be more comfortable with him allowing Joe Woods to completely run the defense and just being an overseer of everybody, making sure everybody doing their jobs, as opposed to you just focusing on what the defense is doing. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think he's going to do that. He's going to do what he did for the last couple of years and just hope that Clint Kubiak bails his ass out. Now, could it work? It could work. Why didn't it work last year? Because they had the wrong guy doing it on the other side. The guy didn't know what he was doing. Now, don't tell me, don't get me wrong. There will be struggles. How Dennis Allen deal with those struggles? Will he go over there and say, hey, hold on now. What's going on here? Will he do that? Hell no, he's not going to do that. He going to do what he knows to do, because he's an old coach that's under the gun right now. And that's why you see him moving differently. Now, if the gun wasn't there, would Dennis Allen have this type of movement? Let me ask y'all that. If he wasn't under the gun right now, would he be moving like this right now? Answer that in the chat. Answer that question in the chat. If he wasn't under the gun right now, would he be moving like this? Just keeping it real. Is this merely circumstantial that he's under the gun and that's why he's feeling the heat and he's moving this kind of way? I'm just saying, I'm asking. All right, Philip says, this is by far the realest media platform. Thank you, man. We just rolling it over, bro. Dark Side says maybe Demario is speaking more about DA as a defensive coach than the head coach. And now, you know what? That's a good point, Dark Side. You're on the light side with that one, brother, because you dropping game, because that's what he sees. He don't see DA the head coach. He sees DA the defensive coordinator. That's a great comment right there. Solid comment. That's true. I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I'm like, man, what is the dude talking about? But I love and respect Demario Davis so much. I really do. But I also am a realist, and I know the team. I've been doing this for a while. I've been, like I said, y'all know my resume. But at the same time, like, nah, that's off code, man. I'm a code dude, man. You can't exist without having a code, man. What Dennis Allen was doing was off code, and Dennis Allen would backstab the piss out of you to save his life. He would. He wouldn't walk. He would push the if the cliff was falling down, like I talk about walking into the volcano. Demario Davis, the dude that'll walk with you into the volcano. And then if Dennis Allen was behind him and the ground started crumbling at his feet leading into it, Dennis Allen will push him to save his own life. He would. What kind of dude you got there? Our English says Allen has done nothing to endear himself to the city. He is dressing us with contempt. And last season, it was exactly. This is not negative. This is truth. This is true. This is what happened. We can't put on a happy-go-lucky face. Now, listen, I'm a realist. Like I say, anything can happen. But I understand why they lost. It wasn't just because of the players. It wasn't just, not having enough this and the injury or this, that, and the third. No. It was a lot of stuff why Saints was losing games early on. We shouldn't have lost the game to the Minnesota Vikings. We shouldn't have lost the game to the Texans. We should have beat the Texans. We should have beat the Minnesota Vikings, who didn't have their starting quarterback or their best wide receiver. They didn't have their top running back, I think, was hurt too, wasn't he? Like two of the best players wasn't there, and you lost to the team. And they just traded for a quarterback. Your boy that with the big head, that's from who wants to be an astronaut, Josh Dobbs. That's his name. He beat the Saints, and then the Saints go into a bye and then lose to Atlanta the next week after that, after having plenty of time to prepare. What's going on here? You see, they just wasn't in many of these games. They wasn't there. You go and watch the games, a lot of stalled out drives, a lot of finger pointing on the field. That's on the coach. They're not, and he let that happen the whole year. He didn't go in there. And I was saying, I'm like, man, dude, this is a non-accountable team. You can't let people false start. Alvin Kamara was saying that. They're still mad at Alvin Kamara for telling the truth. He was telling the truth. And we looked at it. What the off-code teams look like during a year. A non-accountable team. People was false start. Remember Andrews Pete false started 3 times in a row? Y'all remember that? Put one in the damn chat. Remember that when Andrews Pete was false starting? Man, come on, man. Who does that? Who does that? Good teams don't do that. What about all the pre-snap penalties? The Saints were beating themselves with all the pre-snap penalties. Remember that? I remember all that because I did the fucking play-by-play on each game. Excuse my French, man. I'm getting upset about it because it's stupid. It's stupid. So that's an accountability issue. So at times now is when you get an accountable guy in there that holds guys accountable, meaning that if they don't play right, we pulling them out of there. You feeling the pressure to play right, to execute, to stay on time. That changes things. That changes things. It does. How much? We'll have to see. But I do like the changes. I'm going to just be honest with you on that. All right, T-Will, what's up, brother? Said yes, because he doesn't know how else to move. Kubiak taking over and all the offensive. Exactly. He's not going to change. He's not going to change anything. J Black says tall glass Spikefield will opium. No, brother. We going to see. We're going to see. Maybe on the Pelicans now. That's DC's ground with the hopium. I Divine Eternity said, I was wondering if we would have hired Kubiak if we had won more games, Green Bay, and maybe made the playoffs. No, there wouldn't have been that. You'd still have Pete Carmichael. You would have somebody had to go, and it couldn't have been him. See, we knew, but that was the call. If you fail, we fired offensive coordinator. That saves his job. You see? So that's the thing. If Pete Carmichael was successful, Kubiak would not be here. You'd still be running Sean Payton's offense. Straight up. Yeah, that's right, Lou. That's right, Louisiana. Green Bay, too. That was the worst one. How I forget that one? We was up and we let them come from behind and win the game. That wasn't supposed to happen. I know Derek Carr got hurt in the game, but we had Jameis Winston. All we had to do was run the clock out. We couldn't even do that. They could not run the ball. Watch the game. So it's like when we talk about all this other stuff, I'm like, man, nah, bro, I've seen too much to let anybody tell me some blind faith, bro. Listen, I respect your respect for such and such, but I'm sorry, I don't see that person with the same glasses that you see him through. You know, you see him like he gave him big accolades about the success that he's had here, such and such as a defensive coordinator. I'm talking, I don't have any disrespect in terms of Dennis Allen when you're talking about defensive coordinator, because I believe he's a very good defensive coordinator, but it's just that head coach thing. You know, he's struggling with that right now. Cartel says, I made it to hear you. Yeah, sorry for, nah, you good, brother. We about to pop. We about to end out anyway. Oh, he says, opium, DA does this. Okay. I don't think it's accountability, bro. That's the thing. That's what they were missing on. It's the accountability. That's the thing, man. You got to have accountability and attention to detail. I said that over and over and over again. You got to have it. You can't, like Alvin was saying, the guys was false starting in practice last year and nobody was saying nothing. He said it again yesterday. He spoke on it. He spoke about all the stuff that was wrong with the Saints. And see, the thing was why he did that, because a lot of it's contractually speaking. And over the last 2 years, the Saints offense was so pathetic in many aspects that it hurt his money. And now Mickey Loomis wants to pay him based on what he did over the last couple of years. And a lot of that's the result of poor decision making on the offensive side of the ball in terms of the play call. So if you was doing, if the offense was flowing and you was really using Alvin Kamara the way he's supposed to, then his numbers would look a lot better. Thus, he would be commanding more money. But Mickey Loomis said this stuff 2 days ago. Players see themselves up here. And we see him like right here and what he can be. That's what he said. I was like, huh? But it wasn't y'all directly responsible for why stats look like, because they base it on statistics. They base it on stats. Well, how the hell you want me to pay your ass that money? And you rush for 600 yards with 4 touchdowns. I'm not giving you that kind of money. That's crazy talk. That's gobbledygook. I'm not doing that. Well, if you had, and Alvin touched on that the other day, and I was thinking that before he even said it because I didn't see the interview. I was like, man, hold on. All of it's stat driven. So, but the offense stinks. That hurts the players when the money comes around. And it was the exact opposite with McCaffrey, because McCaffrey balled out, led the NFL in rushing, had 14, whatever it was, touchdowns, second on the team in receiving. He had 8 touchdowns receiving, 14 rushing, and 14, more than that, actually, 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns, something like that, 14, 15, or 16, I forget. But he had over 1,400 yards to lead the NFL. So he banked in on his thing, and then he's like, I'm not giving you that money. You had 600 yards rushing last year. I'm paying you right here. No, dude, give AK-41 his money. 1,000 yards, he gets the all-time Saints rushing record. He takes it from, a couple hundred, he passes Deuce McAllister. And just about 1,000 or so, he gets, he can catch Mark Ingram and take the Saints all-time rushing record away from Mark Ingram this season with a 1,000-yard campaign from AK-41. Get a man his money, brother. Stop playing. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. A few more comments, man. If y'all got any questions, throw them there quick. I'm about to get on out. Eternity says that garbage coaching staff that stood behind Sean Payton all the years. But see, the thing, Sean Payton was an alpha dog. Like you look at a Coach Chucky and Sean Payton, they mirror images, not exactly similar, but they have that alpha dog approach. Like it's my way or the highway approach. And even Cam talked about that. He says when Sean Payton was in the building, they had to walk on eggshells. But Sean Payton knew when he was focused how to keep his team, how to keep them going. Like he would bring in people to talk to them. Like he brought in Avery Johnson to do like positive speaking and all that. He knew how to mix it up. Sean Payton was good at what he did when he was focused, and it's a big difference between the personality of a Sean Payton and a Dennis Allen. It's a big difference. But it's not like you went from an inexperienced coach insofar as like a rookie coach or a coach, because the Saints had their picks. You could have had Doug Peterson. You could have Flores, who's the former Miami Dolphin head coach who was young. They interviewed a bunch of people. Eric Bieniemy, they interviewed him, and they kept Dennis Allen. Then they paid Carr all that money, $150 million, gave all that money to him, and then they don't want you to look at his play. And it's like, well, he's not Drew Brees. No, he's not Drew Brees. Nobody never said that. But it's always the talking point. Well, Sean Payton's in here and such as Drew Brees. Drew Brees wasn't the same dude at the end of his career. Drew Brees could barely stay healthy. I mean, I remember the shit, man. I was here. I was doing games. I remember it like it was yesterday. Drew Brees was falling apart toward the back end of his career. And then, he said not too long ago, this offseason, he can't even use his right arm to throw. He had to learn how to throw with his left arm and then the last year, like the Saints were still waiting for the man to decide on what he was going to do. Just stupid. And Mickey says, we got a plan. It was just crazy. They didn't have no plan. It's to ride the horse until the man fell. The man couldn't even throw it with his damn right arm, man. So what I'm saying is, like, I remember all of that. And you can't kind of contrast the two. And eventually people get old. You got to transition. But it should never have been a thing where we'd wait to Drew Brees to be 39 years old before we decide to do something else. He played till he's 39 years old. But you took freaking Davenport when you should have took Lamar Jackson. They trade up, and Sean Payton took effing Marcus Davenport, who right now with the Detroit Lions on the PUP list hurt. So a lot of this stuff, you damn right, is going to go back to the Saints. They could have had Lamar freaking Jackson, man. And they drafted Marcus smelly ass Davenport. You want to talk about that? Is to me the dumbest decision in the history of the New Orleans Saints, when they had a chance to get Lamar Jackson and they traded up to go back into that to get Lamar Jackson, and they took Marcus Davenport, some dude nobody never heard of from the University of Texas at San Antonio. And they drafted the dude hurt, and they knew he was hurt because the very next day he had surgery on his hand. And then that was a bad omen. And his whole career was it puts the Saints back years with that dumbass move. We should have been drafted a quarterback to move on from Drew Brees, but these people don't have no imagination. They stick with woodwork and they'll ride it until the dude fall apart. That's what they do. And that's this guy on the screen. That's his thing. So this year is some desperation going on. The cap's so messed up that they can't really commit to long ass contracts or whatnot. That's why you see a lot of 1-year deals here, 1-year deals that, because of the cap situation is so messed up. So they kind of taking that kind of approach, being real conservative with the money. And it's a lot of gambling going on. But you know that old saying, bro, about fortune, that it favors the bold. It is some bold moves. I got to give them that, man. They got to, fam. They got to show and they got to represent the best way they can. The Super Bowl is in New Orleans, bro. Just like Demario said, hey, man, the Super Bowl is here in New Orleans. Demario, you know what, brother? That's a fact. The only question is, can New Orleans Saints be in the New Orleans Super Bowl? Can we be there? Can we do it? Can we do it? Cartel says, yeah, that's because they trying to hit home runs instead of working his way. Working instead of working his way down the field. All right, Ramsey, what's up, Ramsey? Says, if DA gets fired after the season, can you see them going after Bill Belichick? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go after Bill Belichick, man. I don't know if Mickey Loomis, a big part of this is Mickey Loomis, man. If Dennis Allen fails, and I know they won't do it because we don't got a owner who knows ball good enough to be able to make a decision like that. She would have to literally resituate the brass of the Saints. If Dennis Allen fails, Mickey Loomis needs to go in terms of his job. He needs to lose the general manager job. I know she ain't going to get rid of him because she loves him, but he needs to lose that general manager job. He has 2 jobs anyway. He's the VP and GM. He don't need to be both. I think Mickey's a fantastic VP. He really is. But general manager, he needs to get up off of that, man. The game done passed him by in many restraints. That's why the team's caps look bad is what it is. A dumb Derek Carr contract. A lot of pressure is on the Saints. If Derek Carr fails, that was Mickey Loomis's choice, and Mickey Loomis need to suffer too. So I know she ain't gonna fire Mickey Loomis. I know that's not gonna work. But he should lose the general manager job, and it should reformat the Saints brass at that administrative level. meaning that Dennis Lauscha, who's the team president, and I said this countless times, man, the Saints need a rework and they need to reorganize the structure in the administrators. Gail's obviously don't call him an owner no more. They use the term governor. She's the leader owner of the team. Dennis Lauscha is the president of both the Saints and the Pelicans, but he doesn't know. He's a businessman. He don't know nothing about football on the field intricately and basketball on the basketball side intricately. He's a businessman. He needs to be rebranded something else. I've said this before. He needs to be termed the chief. I think Gail is called the chief financial officer. He needs to be the vice chief financial officer, or vice chief vice financial officer, something in that regard. Not losing power, but merely being put in its proper place. And then you need to hire a true president of football operations, a guy that used to be a player, almost like I would say somebody like a John Lynch type, like a guy that was really good at football, but a guy that went through the executive position, became a general, that got to that executive level that knows about ball. You get him there, a guy that knows, that has that type of stuff, and you put him there. You can still keep Mickey at the VP, and you get a new general manager. That should be Kai Harley. Then you're doing something on the Saints side. Then you're making moves. But if Dennis Allen fails, Mickey needs to lose he need to lose the general manager job. We don't need Mickey Loomis taking this team to the next 5, 10, whatever years. The cap is screwed up because of him. And a lot of these decisions with Dennis Allen, if he fails, is Mickey Loomis needs to suffer that too. That's what needs to happen. They don't need to just stay up there. He needs to go too. And I've been saying that for a while. He's past his prime. And he sit up there in the same press conference and said that and Cat Terrell, shout out to Cat. Cat asked him. And he said, well, there's talk that you're supposed to, that's supposed to be you're stepping down from there. Oh, that's somebody made that up. That's how he said it. Somebody, that's just somebody made that up. I feel I might be the general manager for the next 10 years. And that's just ridiculous. Dennis Lauscha should have heard that and say, let me start thinking about this here. Yeah, Mickey, how old are you, Mickey? You get fleeced all the time by general managers. Let me see if I can count them. Kai, you ready to take that step, man? You ready? And then he made the comment, if Kai Harley, like if they raised general managers and Kai, looking at him, so he was looking at Kai Harley to take the Carolina job at one point in time to become the general manager there, he was ready to let him go. He don't need 2 jobs, bro. How you keeping 2 jobs? And he keeps the general manager job because he can sit his ass up there in front of the camera. He likes the camera time of doing that. It's time for that to go, man. It's time for that to end, man. It's time for a new era of football if this fails. All right, no cap says Q. If Carr and DA was QB and HC of 09 team, you think they would win 13 games, let alone? No, I don't think so, bro. I would say no to that, because that was a special unit and it took every bit of the leadership and the gumption, that's an old school word, that Sean Payton had. Sean Payton drove that. His personality was throughout that team. They played just like how Sean Payton was. And Sean Payton was really good at the offensive side of it. He was a gambler. He was there was many good things about Sean Payton, but that 09 team was a good rendition of him. And like I said, the aura, like a lot of these teams, the aura of the head coach is throughout the team. So if you have a coach that's not really dialed in, he's kind of milquetoast, it's hard for the team to outdo the energy that the coach represents. That's for real. It's the strangest thing, but a head coach, his energy dominates the team. So if you have an inconsistent energy or an inconsistent style of coach, your team will be inconsistent. And that's what the Saints were last year. Very inconsistent in many games. They mirrored his image. That's why I was saying Dennis Allen as a coach has to be better and get better. It starts with him. That's why I was questioning, would he change, not just about the offensive realm, but his personality? Would he learn to do better? Because he's talking more about accountability and attention to detail. And you got to give him some points on that, because he wasn't saying that the year before, the year after that. He got it from somewhere. And he started hiring people with that mindset. So that's a step. Will it be enough to get you a couple of more games? It should. It should. So, that's how I see it. All right, T. Thank you, bro. T. Will says, do you think this new West Coast will work? Yeah, I just covered that, bro. I think it will. I think it will. And the big test will be like when we play the 49ers in the preseason, we're going to see that because they're going to be running their West. See, that's another one because they practice against the 49ers. That'll be a really interesting preseason game. And I know we won't have our starters in there full time, but we'll have we'll still be running our system with our backups. But it'll be interesting to see what the Niners are doing and see what the Saints version of that look like when we go against the 49ers, because we'll see how our defense reacts to their offense. So it'll be a little telltale. It's been interesting. A lot more pressure is on the preseason. It really is, because the Saints have to use every bit of this goddamn preseason to get ready for the first 5-6 games. It's not like you opening up, we got some time. It's different when you under the gun year. You got a new system in place and you got to pick it up fast. It's a whole nother energy, man. It's a whole nother energy. All right. There you go. All right. Cartel says, Q, if Mickey was still alive, he says, if Mickey was still alive, if he was still alive, I don't think Mickey transitioned. Mickey is still alive, brother. He says, do you think, you might be saying if Tom Benson was alive, huh? Yeah, I was about to say, when did he leave? I think you're saying Tom Benson. If Tom Benson was still alive, do you think Mickey would still be the GM knowing how poor his decision? I don't know. A lot of things would be different if Tom Benson was alive. We'll still have Sean Payton. I believe if Tom Benson was still alive, we'll still have Sean Payton. And I think we would still have Sean Payton. Because when Tom Benson closed his eyes and transitioned, you got a different Sean Payton. This was a different Sean Payton. There was only one alpha dog in that building and decision maker, and it was Tom Benson. When Sean Payton, go back and listen to the interviews when Benson was alive and Sean Payton was the coach, he used to talk about the conversations that him and Tom Benson would have, because Tom Benson knew football. It's a difference. Gail don't. He would call him in his office and he would talk to him about plays that he calls in games that were questionable. And Tom Benson was the type of dude that used to go and talk to people too. Tom Benson wasn't a guy when his ivory tower. I think later on, as he started to get sick, he kind of was more reserved. But Tom Benson was a dude. That's how he made his fortune. He was a car salesman. The man was out there making a deal happen, talking to people, shaking hands. He was that type of guy. The man came up from selling cars to doing what he did, man. An amazing story. But he was a guy that was always a people person. And he knew football. He was a big supporter of the team when he ultimately ended up getting it from Robert Meekum, buying the team from him and kind of changing the fate of the organization. But he used to ask Sean Payton, like during games, like, why did you call that play? And all this used to, like, not all the time, but like, so he had conversations with Sean Payton about plays that he called that didn't work. So Sean Payton used to go on the mat and go and talk to Tom Benson about this and had to explain himself. That's a whole nother thing than what you got when the Tom Benson transition. When Tom Benson transitioned, then you got the Sean Payton that we seen later on, the arrogant Sean Payton, head too big, swole, telling people, when people ask him, hey coach, why you call that play? Don't worry about that. Just cut this meat better. All that type of shit. I used to go at Sean Payton for that. The man that was parking his car one time asked him about a play. He got on him. I'm like, hold on, brother. Hold on. You can't talk to that man like that. And that was a dumb play that you called. At least answer the man with grace. Ask him with grace. That's a supporter of the team. Told the butcher that. Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. I went off on Sean Payton for that shit, man. Talking to the people like that. A man asked him about the play. He went to the supermarket and the butcher asked him, hey, Coach Payton, why did you call that play such and such? Don't worry about that. Cut this meat better. What? Put one in the chat. He said a bunch of stuff I used to go off on him about, man. Sean Payton he got a swole head later on after Tom Benson transition. He really did. I didn't like that part about it. I really did. I used to go off on him about that. Put one in the chat if y'all remember me doing that. I used to go at Sean Payton. And then they had to protect Sean Payton brigade. Let Sean Payton say whatever the hell he want to say. And they wouldn't even criticize him. They wouldn't criticize him, but I was like, man, you can't talk to the people like that, bro. What's wrong with you? You can't do that. Handle it with grace because these people are paying your salary. It was a dumb play that you called. It was just, man, come on, man. I don't care if it's football play. These still people, man. They put their goddamn pants on like we do. And the money come from us anyway. So I understand the power dynamic. And it's not going from them to you. It's you going to them. Every day they get the power from you, not the other way around. They wouldn't be shit without you. And I understand that. That's why I think the way I do. If you piss me off and disrespect me, I go on code against you. I get other people on code against you. I boycott you and I stop your bread. Play with me. That's how we operate because I understand the power dynamic. That's how this shit is. That's how it's supposed to go. Cartel says, mate, my bad. Do you think if... Yeah, I got you, Cartel. I understand. Yeah, I think I answered that. No, it wouldn't. Sean Payton, I think, would still be here. And he would definitely check Mickey Loomis. This is another side effect of it. Mickey Loomis talking like this. He would never let Mickey Loomis talk to the people like that, calling them unqualified, unsophisticated, calling the reporters unsophisticated and lazy, disrespecting the support base, and nobody putting their foot in his ass. Huh? Just letting him talk out the side of his head like this, and I'm doing it again. I'm up here doing it. Ain't nobody doing Mickey Loomis impressions, no impersonation. Nobody give a damn to. I'm the one that make Loomis funny. I get to talking. Hold on now, old guy. Hold on, guy. You're popping off a lot right there, guy. Hold on now, big boy. You got to stop that. I hold on. Tom Benson wouldn't have said nothing. Yes, he would. He would have checked your ass. He wouldn't have let you talk to the people like that. He respected the people. He wouldn't have let you talk crazy to him like that. He wouldn't have let you get up there and act a fool like that. He wouldn't have done it. That's me again, just like I was on Sean Payton. I'm on Mickey Loomis doing the same thing, checking these people about what they saying, bro. You see me doing it all the time. Most of them not even doing it. They just look past it like it don't exist. That's disrespectful, man. You don't disrespect the support base. You don't do it. I know Cap says the thing is, can it be enough to get more games? But the thing is, we only won 9 games due to the competition. So if the competition was better and healthier, we won 9 games. Thus, we still win 8 games. We'll see. No Cap, bro. You a smart brother, man. I hear what you're saying, bro. They got to prove it to you, brother. And I understand you're looking for answers. But all I can tell you is talent wasn't the issue with the black and gold last year. It was intangible. It was stuff like accountability and attention to detail. It was game IQ, game time decision IQ, knowing when to do things at the right time, knowing when to make adjustments, when to pull players, which players are not supposed to play. If you see a guy out there dropping the ball or fumbling the ball, pull his ass out of there. Having the mindset that one player does not stop the team from winning. And if you're not there that game, that's fine. We're going to pull you out there and put somebody in there that's ready to play and not let somebody hurt us. You see, when you bring a Kubiak and Andrew Janoku and Dennison and all these other offensive people in here, they have a high degree of accountability, which is a trait that Dennis Allen severely lacks. So what he even spoke to this, and I was saying this family last year and the year before. I was saying this guy, I was telling the family members, listen, the guy don't have this, he don't have this, he don't have this, he don't have this. And I was going down a list of attributes that Dennis Allen was lacking, which is why the team was failing in many regards. When people were still talking about football on the field. And I was like, nah, it's not that. It's the coach and the attributes that he's lacking is hurting the team. You cannot underestimate the energy the coach has over his team. So if he's lacking attention to detail, he's lacking accountability, it'll spill out all over the team. And you heard what Alvin Kamara said yesterday. He was speaking to that, and we were saying that before, years ago. We were saying that last year and the year before that when we seen Dennis Allen, what he put out there. It wasn't hard to tell to me in the Great Saint Think Tank. We knew it. We knew it wasn't just football on the field. It started up here. The man just simply didn't have it. So what you're seeing now is urgency. You see him being under the gun. They got a pistol, not Mickey, but time. The invisible time monster, I guess you can call. Demario Davis doesn't believe in time, neither does Prince. But somebody holding the pistol on Dennis Allen right now and saying, hey, man, you under the gun. And that's what it looks like. So it's a sense of urgency. It's a breakaway from norms. See, that's what pressure do to you. Pressure forces you to come out of your comfort zone and do things you didn't do before and think thoughts you didn't think before, because you're under the gun to pursue. You need to produce results as soon as possible. So all that comfortable shit that he was doing last year is going away. The only question is, like, if he excels and wins another year and wins and gets the team to the playoffs, do that same energy follow the team into the following year? Or is it the fact that he's doing this because he's facing that pistol energy? That's what I'm looking at. So it's urgency. It's a sense of urgency and desperation to a degree for the Saints to produce, because this is an undergun that got the pistol on him this year. He's sitting in the red chair, so that's what it is. But yeah, I get what you're saying, brother, but they have the talent. They have the players. They have a new offensive group in there, and those guys are smart. They got a good system. They know how to run it. The only thing is the question I have is, how fast do they get from here to there, meaning the comfortability of operating that offense? Because like you said, you made a great point about the line, very inexperienced line. They got to get that to going. You got to get a quarterback on code with Derek Carr, who didn't do well in his progressions last year, but they fixing that. That's an answer for every question you got that they wasn't doing last year. Like the questions for Derek Carr, even Andrew Janockel talked about that. Clint Kubiak talked about that, the speed and Carr up. They said they was working on his footwork. They said they was working on his progressions. They said they was working on him getting the ball. Like even Derek Carr talked about that. Carr talked about, I threw the ball out there, and he was doing all this stuff. He's very handsy when he's describing himself. I threw the ball out there, and then and I was like, man, I did a really good job. I threw the ball out there, and then Clint Kubiak turned to me and said, that's good, but do it faster. It's like, okay. And he's pressuring, man, he's pressuring me to do it. And, I was, and I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I had to go in and I took a picture, I texted a picture to Alvin Kamara. It was just, he was on under, it's pressure. It's pressure. So you got coaches that got to keep the players on time, because the guy got an arm. You got to keep them on schedule, bro. That's what it's about. As long as you got coaches that are doing that, you're going to see a difference in wins. I promise you that much, man. You're going to see all them ones in the chat. Shout out to y'all, man. Yeah. Tim says Peyton was eating them Viking. And yeah, he almost got in trouble for that too. I remember that. He got him. It was a whole little scandal a lot of people don't talk about. But yeah, it's all good. T-Will said, I know everyone remember when Sean Payton called Chris Ivory out for having the run. Yeah, he did. And he did the same thing to Mike Bell too. Y'all remember Mike Bell? The hard running Mike Bell he did the same thing to Mike Bell. If you didn't put the right cleats on, you going to Dennis Allen's to Sean Payton's doghouse. You did. I remember all that. Philip says, I don't know if Payton was really the great of a coach. He may just have benefited from having Drew Brees so far as Sean shit in Denver. Like Belichick having Brady. Well, it's a two-parter, isn't it? Because Bill Belichick and Sean Payton can't very well go out there and throw the touchdowns. You got to have a guy that understands your system. I think this year, Sean Payton will be all right this year. I don't think he'll tear the world up because he got a rookie. But the quarterback he has now is a guy that spent as much time as he could in college. And he's a very cerebral quarterback in many ways. In terms of the cerebral, like I said with Bo Nix played as much college football as you can allow to be played. So it's just getting him in the system and protecting them. And this Denver team feels more like Sean Payton's team. He got a lot of young players on that. It was a big gamble getting rid of Russell Wilson, even though Russell was kind of looking bad, but Sean Payton got a rookie. That's something Sean Payton never did before either. I was like, wow. Sean Payton got a rookie quarterback that he drafted with a first-round pick that's probably going to start for Denver. He never done that before. That's something that he never did down here. He ran away from drafting first. He had an opportunity. Like I told you, he could have took Lamar Jackson, passed on it for Marcus Davenport. Crazy. But he took Bo Nix. Never seen Coach Payton. That's one thing I knew that Sean Payton never did, was take a quarterback in the first round and turn him into something. It's going to be interesting times in Denver, man. I tell you what, pressure's on, Sean. Pressure's on. All right. Yeah. Y'all remember Mike Bell, man? English says, got to wake up early, Q. Yeah, I'm about to check out of here too, man. Cap Manning. What's up, Cap Manning? Says Sean's decision making was like pulling teeth also. You know how to burn the shrimp and the grits. Yes, indeed, man. But to bring it full circle, when we talk about what we're seeing today on the training camp or whatnot, I still think that if you look at it, that no matter what we dealing with this year, and listen, people have the right to feel they waited about Dennis Allen, about the New Orleans Saints, because it's a show me year. The Saints have been massively disappointing. So I get that. I'm not gonna blast family members for having doubts or family members that say I feel good about the season. However you feel is how you feel. If you need some more proof, that's where you are, man. It's difficult times. We kind of in a little mini dark period right now with the Saints to see if we can do it, because we know the team is talented and they have everything it takes to win. And most of the time, all this is because we get in our way of winning. You know, that's the thing, closing out the wins and not having pre-snap penalties, not kicking ourselves in the pants. We're being more disciplined, more attention driven, more focused, more accountable. That's supposed to lead to wins, because that's what stopped us. So I do like the moves, and I really do think, family, that I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I really do. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. As long as they keep to the accountability and attention to detail, I say they make the playoffs. That's what they were missing. So, plus we got Alvin pissed off. Well, he ain't pissed, but he playing in a contract year if they don't give him his extension, and they're far apart right now. But he gonna get it one way or the other. Alvin Kamara ain't tripping on nothing. One way or another, he gonna get it. Either it's from the Saints or from somebody else. He gonna make his money, and he gonna have a phenomenal year this year. Watch. I'm telling you, that old man Mickey, he making a big mistake here. But anyway, with that being said, man, I'm gonna get out of here. Listen, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back for some more Saint talk tomorrow. We'll cover more news, notes, and items on the Black and Gold, man. Listen, man, it was fun hammering it up with y'all for about 3 and something hours, man. But listen, y'all do me a service, y'all. If y'all enjoyed the stream, please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free, man. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed, man. We up in this thing representing the Great Saint Think Tank. If you're not a subscriber, smash on the sub button, man. We doing what we do. Listen, I'm going to be back and talk some more Saints at y'all tomorrow. Y'all check out the link tree in the description section below. We got merch and all that stuff in there. For all the latest stuff on the Black and Gold, check out the whothatdaily.com, our own sports website. All that's popping and snapping at the PRO Media Network. So with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night, and I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace. Who that to?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, bugging like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow.